Boom. What up, Club? What up, and la 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 la. Forgot to turn my microphone on. Bleh. What up, Mustang? Happy Thanksgiving. Dun dun dun. Oops. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. There we go. Ready? Ready? Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Okay. It was good. Let me show you real quick. Oh, I didn't have the microphone set up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, ND. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm glad my sister, well, everybody in Christmas, my sister and her husband and everybody. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm blessed to have everybody with me. All right, let me get my Discord up here. Where was I? I rebooted my computer. It's been a couple of weeks before I did that, so I. Oh, so I finally decided to reboot before I went live, and then I forgot to open everything back up before I went live. Let's see where are we? Oh, well, yeah, it was good. We set up a bunch of we planted a bunch of stuff. We set the yard up, the house and everything. I'll show pictures when we get everything done. But install. How's everybody else doing? How about everybody else? How's everybody else going? It's odd talking about Thanksgiving considering mine was last month, right? Uh oh. Uh oh. Where am I at? Open recent. There we go. Okay. Change log. Okay, there we go. Show notes. There we go. Copy, paste, paste, pin. All right, sorry. It took me. I had to get back to. I had all that other stuff open from Cheese Story yesterday and stuff. I forgot to. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, I'm stuffed. I am stuffed. Freaking uh, ham, turkey, stuffing, well, dressing, cranberry sauce, mixed vegetables, sweet potatoes, pumpkin pie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I try my best. I try my best. I try my best. Okay, let's see what we're doing. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Me oh me. Let's see. Thanksgiving table spread. Let's see what everybody else did. Hey, yeah, boy, it's the way to go, Mustang. It's the way to go. So this is like a standard Thanksgiving in America. Oh, and drop biscuits, which are good. Let me show you these drop biscuits. These boy right there. Yeah. So they're not like perfectly made. You basically take a scoop, drop it onto the tray, and then cook it like that. We usually have roast beef, but I don't like beef, so I typically have chicken. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. I love beef. Beef is my staple. I prefer, so a lot of people that have problems with depression can get that from chicken. Oddly enough. Oddly enough. Let me see if there's any science behind it. Links between chicken and depression. Okay. So the links between it are complex and appear to depend on the type of diet specific to lifestyle factors. High chicken diet may be protective, it says. So for some, it can be protective, and some it can do the opposite. Particularly when part of a balanced diet, vegetables, fruits. However, some studies indicate components in chicken, such as proline or araca, arachidonic acid. That sounds like it would be arachidonic acid. Sounds like arachnid, like it has something to do with spiders. Is linked to higher risks of depression when consumed in excess. That's crazy. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I do you do stuffing or dressing? So stuffing is if it's stuff. I mean, pretty much nowadays, especially in America, it's the names are interchangeable. Like stuffing means you actually stuff it in the bird, and then dressing is the same ingredients as stuffing, but not stuffed in the bird. Stuffing. You stuffing also. So we used to do stuffing. So we call that dressing stovetop. And it's called stovetop stuffing, but if you don't stuff it in the bird, it's called dressing. The difference between dressing and stuffing. There you go. The difference is stuffing is cooked inside the bird while dressing is baked in a separate dish. The base ingredients are often identical. So what I do is I boil water and chicken broth, and then add the bread and stuff to it, and then it soaks up that stovetop. I'm staying, brother. That's exactly what I had. I didn't make no freaking homemade stuff, and it's stovetop stuffing right there, boy. Most of my plate consists of right. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Mine too. So I tell you what, if anybody, and I'm sure ND knows this, um, brining your chicken or turkey, do it. I go to the local stores like grocery stores, and you can ask them for a big food safe bucket. Like, and the ones that I've been getting over the years have been ones that have buttercream in it. So if you go to the bakery, the buttercream that they use to like make cakes and stuff to decorate cakes, they'll have these big buckets. So you can fill it full of your brine, which is water, sugar, some vinegar, some salt, and spices, and then the day before you're going to cook it, you put it in there, let it sit for 24 hours in the refrigerator. Then freaking take that sumajum out, dry it off, bake it, and it's chef's kiss. It's absolutely the way to do it, and that's what we did this year. It's freaking brining, yeah, brining over dry baking. Brining involves salting meat in advance, flavor moisture, which is a better technique. So that's dry brining. So I'm not talking about dry brining. I'm talking about wet brining. And now it doesn't tell me anything. Brining a turkey. Finding a turkey. Brining a turkey. So like this, so the day, so you can do it in the pot you're gonna cook in if you've got a big enough pot. I cook mine in the oven, but yeah, I use a 5 gallon bucket, like just like this right here. That's got ice in it, so it looks a little funny. That's got ice and oranges and cloves and whatnot. But yeah, boy, yeah. If you don't have a bucket, you can use a bag, but it's best to sink it, and it's so good because then it doesn't just have like salt on the surface. It's like the flavors all the way through. So if you end up making like for chickens or turkey, if you make like chicken salad the next day, a couple days ahead, it's so good. It's so good. It's the best way to do it. It's like this. I don't use fruit juices. I use vinegar. But yeah, onions. Oh, it's just so good. It's the best way to do it. And it's like if you've ever had dry turkey, you never will again. You never will again. It's unbelievably good. And you don't need to baste it while it's in there. You put it in the oven once, you leave it alone until it hits temperature, and that's it. It's done. You ain't got to worry about none of the bull crap, tenting, and all that. It's freaking delicious. My Italian neighbor has chicken and veal cutlets and pasta. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Yeah, boy. uh, I don't do veal anymore, but I love it. I love the taste of it. It's very, very good. Yeah, yeah. I don't do it anymore. I before I really looked into a lot of how how our food is made. Now that I have chickens and grow food and stuff like that. Right, right, right. You have to choose your battles in life, you know. So it's like veal is younger sheep, younger like lambs, but they're more expensive. So there's if you have a budget and you want to follow your budget more than anything, there's no need to eat lamb. There's no need to veal. Yeah, boy, this is what my brine looks like. Bay leaf, peppercorns, clove, ginger. Yeah, veal. I might be wrong. What is veal? Baby calves. Yes, yes, yeah. Baby cows. Right. What did I say? I probably read your name, and I was thinking, and I'm in a and baby sheep are lambs, baby cows, yeah, are young cow. Cattle is veal, right, right. So calves are typically raised to about 16 to 18 weeks. So they only get to 4 to 6 months of age. When I buy mine, hey Chi, when I buy mine, the local cattle rancher, he has dairy cows, and the dairy cows live a certain like couple of 7 years or whatever it is, and once they stop giving milk, they start to decline. Once they stop producing milk, their bones start to get weak, they'll get sick very quickly, stuff like that. So basically once they get past their milking ages, then they get put out to pasture, and then before they start to decline in health, they're sent to meet their maker. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I'm not. I'm not a fan of eating babies. This is why I love eggs. Okay. Eggs aren't baby chickens. Eggs are eggs. Fertilized eggs are baby chickens. So like, there's no, there's no penis around. So the my hens aren't getting pregnant, but they lay eggs every day. So this is the kind of interesting thing about that. And a lot of vegetarians will eat eggs because they're not vegans won't, because that's an animal product, but vegetarians will eat eggs because they're never going to be they're not I'm not a fan of eating babies. It's like crazy. Uh, oh man, I'm a little sedate right now from I ate a lot. And I did a lot of work before that. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff out of storage, set up the house, set up the decorations, a lot of cooking. uh, I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, right. Vegetarians who eat eggs. Ovo vegetarians who do not eat dairy, or lacto ovo who do eat dairy. The term vegetarian refers to the lacto ovo type, which is the most common. They avoid meat and fish, but eat eggs and drink milk and have dairy products. Yeah. And then you have the ovo vegetarians, which includes eggs but not milk, meat, and fish. Because the thing is, the chickens are just going to walk around and drop eggs, and those eggs are just going to, like if you think about the thought process behind it, um, when you take their milk, you're taking their baby's milk, right? And I understand why that's not a problem because they produce as much as you take. You're not drying a cow out and then the babies go hungry. You take what's left, and then it's like, so yeah, there's it. God knew what he was doing. What was I saying? Yosef Fritzl. It's ringing a bell, but I know like 70 Yosefs in let's check. I'm trying to think. It's Yosef Fritzl, Australian criminal. His name it says Australian Australian criminal. Not businessman who was arrested. He kept his daughter. He's 90 years old. Okay, he kept his daughter in a basement and mated with her. Why are you bringing this up? Do you want proof that there's evil in the world? There's evil. And they're making a movie about it. The Yosef Fritzl story. Sexually assaulted. Jesus Christ. For decades. He's going through it now at 90 years old. Hold on. The case in 2008 was informed investigators. Oh, Jesus. Did I say Australia? Austrian. I was about to say he doesn't look Australian. And I just played. I'm playing with you. That's fine. Every Thanksgiving we watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Such a good movie. So we used to watch my dad's parents, especially his mom. She loved baseball, so we would watch the baseball games and stuff like that when we were younger. After she passed and we started having our own celebrations, we would watch it. We would vary on what we would watch as long as we were watching something as a family. And Christmas, we watched the Doctor Who marathons. John Wayne Gacy. Yeah, oh yeah. Yep, I'm very familiar with him. Yep. He wanted to be he had dysphoria and he wanted to put other people's skin on his body. John Wayne Gacy's motive for clown costumes. He seldom earned money from his performances. Later said that he allowed him to regress into childhood. He performed as both pogo and patches in numerous local parties, political functions, charitable events, and even children's hospitals. Yeah, so people that have these pedophilic, psychopathic, suicidal personalities, even like priests and stuff like that, who become like Catholic priests and stuff, and people that work around children, that's what they want. They want to surround themselves with children. It's evil. See, people that don't have a religious bone in their body don't understand how evil is. He didn't have a childhood due to the fact that he was assaulted. Right? Yeah. So broken people break people. Broke people break people. And it takes a value system to get out of that, because if someone assaults you that you're close to, then you grew up in their value system. If you don't change value systems, even though you might not agree with what happened, you're still living that value system, because that's how we're influenced. We're influenced in the value system we grow up in. So like P. Diddy, he was abused as a kid. And so when he got older and powerful, he not it was just in him to say, when you have power, this is what you do to people, to let them know you have power. Did you know the bodies that have been found had items such as candles and pill bottles in the pelvic region? I did not know that. John Wayne Gacy was a very sick bastard. I can imagine. Do you know? Do you hear about the guy who got? I can't remember his name. I used to remember his name because I talked about him a lot, and it's completely gone from my brain right now. There was a guy that got put to death by the electric chair, and when they flew through the switch, his pelvis exploded. So, uh, so his pelvis exploded, and then this is why. Let's find out why. Why did the inmate who was put to death by electric chair have his pelvis explode? Let's see if it finds it. All right. Okay. I hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna. Okay. Well. Okay. So I wanted to try to like shock you guys, but now I gotta say it because it won't bring up who it is. It's a death row inmate who stuck a lot of pins in his testicles. Albert Fish. Okay. Wait till you see these X-rays. Albert Fish X-rays. Okay. So it's hard to see. I know it's probably hard to see there, but he stuck pins into. He knew he was a sexual predator, so he would try like not, instead of like cutting himself or punching himself or hitting himself, he would stick pins into his nether regions to try to get rid of the pain of wanting to molest people. So the story was when they put him to death, all the electric arcs that was like just like when you put metal in a microwave. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. He was planning on right, right. He was planning on, and a lot of people do that. Like a lot of people that are murderers, when they dig up their basements, the concrete in their basements, that's where they find more people than they anticipated. But yeah, this guy was nuts. Right. The thing is, there's probably yeah, right, yeah, yeah. The problem with killing people is when you're done, there's a big ass couple 100 pound body there to deal with, right? And then even if you had time to let the body rot, there's skeleton bone, there's bones left over. So there's so these people are like they go through their psychotic episodes, and then when they come out of it, they're like, oh shit, there's a body here. What am I gonna do? All right, get acid. I don't think it was acid. I think it was a base actually being scientific. I think it was actually sodium hydroxide, which is lye. And the missing person case and the relatives to the victim, similar to yeah, right, yeah, that yeah. There's a bunch of crazy, 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 crazy stuff going on. Like people are evil, 100%. Like, oh, look at this. Let me take this out of the way. Look at that. It's called self-embedding. Look at that. That's the leg. Just it's like sticking stuff in. That's yeah. What happened to Albert Fish? Yeah, man. So, and the thing is, most people, most society is protected from the true evil of the world. Like, like it's not like we just walk outside and see dead bodies in the street from people who have commits. If someone gets hit by a car, it doesn't just lay there. The police and the paramedics come and clean everything up. So it's like Madeline McCann. Madeline. I dated a girl named Madeline. Not McCann, but Madeline McCann. Hold on. Madeline McCann. British chop. You women and your freaking true crime. Madeline McCann is a British child who disappeared from a holiday apartment in Praia de Luz, Portugal on May 3rd, 2007, when she was 3 years old. The case remains a high profile missing case with German national Christian Bruckner identified as the prime suspect. No charges have been brought. In 2025, Polish woman Juliet Wand, who had claimed to be Madeline McCann, was found guilty of harassing the McCann family and sentenced to 6 months in prison. Shit's crazy. Yeah, yeah. And so I'll tell you something interesting. Okay, this is what I try to do. I One of my best friends growing up, John Curioni. I used to write a song about him called Ding Dong John, John Curioni. It doesn't matter. Ding Dong John, John Curioni. John Curioni. Um, he lived on a horse farm. He didn't have horses anymore, and like we turned his horse track into a dirt bike track, and yada yada yada. Anyway, his next door neighbor had a pig farm. So the I would talk to the farmer, the guy that owned it, and he would talk about how back in the day, his uncle, who had a pig farm, was with the mob. And well, not he didn't want to be with the mob at first, but the mob showed up and said, "Hey, we need to feed your pigs. Here's $10,000. Stay inside." And they would go and throw a body in. Pigs will eat bones, so it's if the cops don't get there in a day or two, there ain't nothing left. They suspect she's dead. They suspect she's dead, and they can't make a statement about it because it seemed to keep finding leads. Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Pigs will eat everything. Yeah. So yeah, he told me stories that like the way that a lot of pig farms make money or made money back in like the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s were because the mob was killing so many people, they needed to get rid of the bodies. So the pig farmers would make some money. So like you would have a very profitable pig farm, but you never slaughtered your pigs. So how did you make your money? Well, that's how you made your money. And there was no proof. They couldn't go. And this is before DNA evidence and stuff like that. I did it. Pigs. Yeah, I got you right. Pigs. I did a project on her cold case, followed her story for a long time. If this is the type of stuff like we find people now that went missing in like the 60s, 1960s, and it's like so. This has only been 20 years. Somebody's house will get ripped down in 20 more years, and they'll be like, "What are these bones?" And they'll be like, "Oh, we finally found Madeline McCann." But yeah, so it the women are talking about their uh, true crime stories. It's sad to search up cold cases online. Most cases go unsolved. Most murder cases go unsolved. The only reason you hear about I mean, you might hear about them for a different reason if you look up cold cases, but the only reason the populace hears about them is because the news decides to put something on. But there's so many that there would be dedicated channels on television to just talk about murders. Okay. And it's different for each state. So it's different states. Like I said, of all the murders in Chicago in the past 10 years, how many are solved? And a big problem is 20% to 50%. And currently the current rate is 23 to 25% in recent years. So if you kill somebody, you're more likely to get away with it than not in like Chicago. Um, so yeah, most cases are cold cases. And a lot of times like you have like Chicago, they're trying to lie now and say our crime's going down. So a lot of times murders are swept under the rug. Like if someone gets murdered and they're not dead while they're on the street, like they're still alive, they still have a pulse, they're not like dead on the scene. When they get taken to the hospital and they die, sometimes it's not considered a murder case because they don't want the murder numbers to go up. The politicians want it to seem they want to get reelected. So they can say, look at our crime statistics, crime's going down. But they don't query the hospitals to say how many people were shot. Right? 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 Yep. Yep, they're ignored, right? And that's a big thing. That's a big injustice, right? But no, but this is the thing about, like, the people who promote defunding the police are the people that don't want to get caught. So you've got the mob that wants to say, the mob says, hey, get on the internet and say this, get on the internet and say that. Oh, we need to defund the police. They want to defund the police because they don't want to go to jail. If you can defund the police, then less of these crimes are going to get solved. So if you're in the crime community, you don't want to go to jail. So if you can convince the idiots in the population to defund the police, then you're more likely to go. The people that want to defund the police are the people that want to get away with it. Real, true people on the street, me and you, whatever. I want more police. I want a lot of police. And I want police for the police. So if their police go bad, I want police to be able to throw those police in jail. I want, that's what I want. I want justice. I don't want, but these people, they want power. They don't want justice. And they don't see these people as human, especially because most of the murders are gang violence. Uh, what I miss? Hey, Shiraj. Hey, let me see here. Let me give him a okay. Bam. Sorry. It's similar to the cartel threatening the government and law enforcement to corrupt and keep themselves from getting caught. Right, right. But the thing is, they don't just threaten them. They say, here's a bunch of money and a threat. So I'm going to threaten you with hurting you or your family, and I'm going to give you money. So not only do you not die, you also get rich. So that's the problem. It's not just like they're just threatened. They're threatened to not say anything, and they're rewarded for not saying something. So it's bad. Let's see. What city has the lowest clearing rate of homicides? Chicago by far. Lowest homicide solve rate. And then the thing is, when you have low confidence in that murders are going to be in murder crime, then you see somebody doing something and people don't even report it because they're like, the cops ain't going to do nothing, so why even report it? So then that causes the crime numbers to drop because it's not crime that's dropping, it's reported crime that's dropping. It's similar to the cartel. What is more common towards the cartel? I haven't studied them, like the likelihood of bribe with you. Both. So that's the thing. They do both. They reward the bad behavior. So they go up to somebody and they say, "We're going to make you look." Listen, the cartel loses billions of dollars a year to just animals, rats, and eating the money that's like stacked up in rooms. So they're losing $1 billion a year to rats and mold and mildew of all this cash. So they will might as well just give it to people and say, "Look, I'm giving you money to not do this. And if you do it, then I'll kill you." And the thing is, most people, unfortunately, will take the money because being rich is so popularized. Like, people, everybody wants to be rich. What do you think their motive is? It's evil. It's the evil. The motivation, when you start studying religion, you'll realize that evil exists. People do this because they want to do it. It's not it's not it's not because somebody's so then these evil people group together because people, like-minded people, tend to group together. So when you have evil people, they find other evil people and they do evil. Look, they've already got more money than they can ever spend. um Pablo Escobar spent like $5,000 a year. It might have been more than that. I think it was more than that, on rubber bands. No, it was more than that. What was Pablo Escobar's rubber band budget? monthly budget. His monthly budget was $2,500. That's $19,000 a year on just rubber bands. They had so much cash that they needed $19,000 a year for rubber bands just to rubber band the cash together. So they've got so much money. I can't fathom a person wanting her to. Well, that's good. That means you're not evil. Look, some people like to torture people, not just kill them, but torture them. Bit a ticket. They want to torture them. So that, yeah, this is there's evil exists in the world, and the the best the best reason for there being ultimate good is that there is ultimate evil. Right, right. The only people that can understand evil people truly are evil people. It's just like saying if you don't like pineapple smoothies, but other people do, you can't understand why they like that flavor. It's corrupted brains. Right, 100%. Yeah, $2,500 a month to wrap stacks of cash. This the corrupt they're corrupted from birth, or was it outside stimulus? Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of times people are corrupted, not typically from birth, because there are many people that are like results of like rape can um they're products of rape. Like the mother gets raped, and then the mother has the child, and the child's a great person their whole life. And rape is one of the most evil things you can do to a woman, or a man, anybody. Raping somebody, taking their innocence. So it's usually because they come to a crossroads where they in life they choose one way or another to go. They can choose. And the thing is, people can have evil thoughts but not act on it. So like, and if you think about the whole demonic possession thing, at some point of your life you may have a demon in you, and you can choose to say, wow, I'm thinking crazy thoughts, I need to find a way to get rid of this. And then holy books for different religions will tell you how to get, like, what how to try to cast out demons. It's called casting out demons. Some people don't ever do that, or they don't consider it that they're actually being controlled, and so they just say, this is my personality, I don't want to change. Outside stimulus, I mean, yeah, that's an outside stimulus. I believe you can be sick and evil from brain issues. I believe you can be traumatized through, yeah, sure, sure, absolutely, absolutely, 100%, 100%. That doesn't disprove my point. So like there's things like, so if you can be evil because you have a tumor pushing on your brain, then is it not possible that something else could cause that part of the brain that makes you evil to also trigger? Like if you have a tumor pushing on the brain that causes these chemistries to be produced, then it's possible that something else could also, without having to push on the brain, something else, another outside force could cause that to happen. You can have twisted thoughts internally because of a mental illness, or you can get, okay, most in other countries outside of Canada and the United States, like Zimbabwe, for instance, like we have, when we get mental illnesses, they're considered to last for life, and you need to take medications. In Zimbabwe, they're considered to last between 1 month and 6 months. So why is it that the same humans on other parts of the planet? It's because how they're treated. They treat it like a possession, and they say we need to cast out this, and we need to do this to get rid of you. You might need medication for help or whatever. But Americans and Canadians think that it's a chemical imbalance in the brain because your brain's broken. This pill will help balance your brain for just keep taking it and keep taking it. It's different. It's different. Negative domino effect. Meet over a cup of shit. Yeah, I think we all should. He's got a chalice. Yeah, it's what the world's an amazing place, and the more you study it, the more you realize that it is. And the way our bodies work is Lord of shit, Lord of shit. I don't believe you should treat mental illness with drugs or medication. No, you absolutely should not. Listen, a lot of mental illness is caused from parasitic infections, but a lot. And most people, when they go to the doctor, they don't say, well, let's first give you a parasite cleanse. So why don't they do that? Because they want the money, because those people are evil. I'm keeping it in my tabernacle. Right. That's the problem. The problem is we don't have health care, we have sick care. So if you're sick, and you go to the doctor, they give you things to take care of your symptoms, not the cause. Tabernacle, he says. Tabernacle.
Tabernacle around Atlanta.
There you go. Let's look at some tabernacles. The tabernacles. ND Lamb, the UK ambassador for Shito. Tabernacle. I don't believe individuals have. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? 100% they do. There lots of millions of people do. I mean, I don't blame. I don't. I'm not calling you stupid. I understand it's not taught. The population on Earth that has the population on Earth that's infected with T. gondii parasite. 30 to 50% of the world's population is infected with just this one parasite. Half of everyone has this parasite. So think about the millions of other parasites. Yes, parasites. I don't believe individuals have parasites. They absolutely do. Hold on. What are we talking about? That's okay. That's okay. You can be lamb. Skepticism is good, but that doesn't mean Mrs. Clem. You have it changes throughout your life. It depends is where if you go on vacation somewhere to Mexico, you can get parasites there, and then they can live in you for a while, and you can get rid of them, and you can eat different things that get rid of it, and then you can get them. It happens to everybody throughout our lives. This is just one parasite. There's many. Can parasitic infections affect mental illness? Yes, parasitic infection and mental illness through various mechanisms, direct brain invasion, neuroinflammation, disruption of neurotransmitters and serotonin and dopamine. 100%. And you can get parasites from getting mosquito bites and stuff like that. It's all that's absolutely yeah. So 90% of humans have parasites. I was just talking about one parasite, and you know where that parasite T. gondii comes from having a cat. If you have a cat, you're more than likely to have T. gondii. There are probably when you typically think about parasites, think about tape. Yes, that's what these are. That's what I'm talking about. There's millions of types of parasites. Big parasites like tapeworms, yeah, but there's millions of types of parasites. I have a cat, right? I have a cat also. No rap class tonight. I hope you're good. Yeah. Your tapeworms is intestinal parasites. There's brain parasites. There's muscle parasites. There's bone parasites. I'm too faded to write rap. I have two Maine Coons. Maine Coons. Maine Coons. Bam, boy. Those are frickin'. No. Parasites. You have to think of the definition of parasite. A parasite is oh, now I forgot the definition of parasite. Parasite is an organism that uses your body for survival. So it's something that when it enters your body, it'll use the food you eat to nourish itself, or the water you drink to nourish itself. And so it tries to stay in you so it can stay alive. It absolutely, yeah. Man's not cool. Would you consider the skin mites? Yeah, they're all parasites. Yes, there are beneficial and non-beneficial parasites. Yes, those are all parasites. Yeah, yeah, just like there's bacteria. There's bacteria that can kill you. But the problem is some parasites, even though they're beneficial, can cause mood changes. And if some parasites, if they get if they start like if the parasitic load, how many you have in your body, go overgrown, then like their waste products can cause the amount of dopamine and serotonin in your body to drop or go up. So most issues that we have are caused by parasitic infection. A lot of female breast cancer is not actually cancer. It's parasite eggs that make masses of eggs. And so when you feel the boob and you feel the lump, they say, oh, you got breast cancer. But no, it's parasitic eggs. Not all the time. Yes, there is breast cancer. But here, look. Look, look. I'll show you. I'll show you. Well, parasite eggs mistaken for breast cancer. Parasitic infections like fibrothalamus, cysticercosis can present as breast lumps or masses that mimic breast cancer, especially in endemic areas. These can cause clinical symptoms and appear in imaging like mammograms and ultrasounds as suspicious masses, blah, 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 blah. So, absolutely, uh, some people think 90% of most false positives for female breast cancer is parasite eggs. And the thing is, why don't they try to do a parasite cleanse before all the other stuff? And they don't, because it's money. Closest 101 conversation right tonight have so far. Yes, gut bacteria, yeah, absolutely right. If it wasn't for the beneficial bacteria in our gut, vitamin A and stuff can't cross the gut wall without a parasite, a bacteria bringing it across the gut wall. Yeah. So here, how parasites can various parasitic infections can create lumps and masses in the breast that are clinically and radiologically identical to cancerous tumors. So if you've never done a parasite cleanse and they say, "Oh, we've done X-rays and stuff," and they say, "If you've got breast cancer, we're going to cut your boobs off." They didn't do a parasite cleanse first. I have been told in the past that it's a traumatic hit to the breast could cause a big C. No, it's bullshit. Cysts cysts caused by Taenia solium larvae have been mistaken for benign conditions like fibroadenemus and malignancy on imaging, especially in edemic regions. Mammary schistosomosis. These parasitic infections can present as a mass or specific suspicious microcalcifications on mammogram that resemble those of breast cancer, requiring a biopsy for definitive diagnosis. The interesting thing, though, is if you go in and you say, my mother had breast cancer and that now I have lumps, they're going to be like, would you like to schedule a breast removal? That case of the chlamydia in the Philippines, I once slept with a few parasites. I looked better the night before, beer goggles. um, right. And so, do you know when they say, do you know when they say, when they say, when they do surgery on cancer, it may spread. Do you know why they say that? Because those aren't cancers. They're cutting into parasite egg masses, causing the parasite egg, just like spiders. When you see a spider nest and you break open that egg and this little itty bitty spiders crawl everywhere, same thing with parasites, but they're so small. So when you cut open parasite egg sacs, that's when the parasites spread. It's not the cancer spreading. I'm about to get banned. Lonk. Yeah. And this is, it's not just this, it's a lot. People have parasites whether you like it or not. We're told that we're clean. America's clean. America's not the Amazon. It don't matter. They're everywhere. Like if you get pregnant, you'll be told by your physician, your obstetrician not to clean cat litter because it's the parasites from the cat litter can get into your baby. And that's a standard thing. Why shouldn't women who are pregnant change cat litter? There you go. Pregnant women shouldn't change cat litter due to the risk of contracting toxoplasmosis, a parasite found in cat feces that can cause serious problems for the fetus. Most people aren't told why. They're just told what not to do or what to do, and people don't question it because the doctor told them. Do you believe in cancer has the ability to hide from the scans? I don't think so. I think those are parasites being misdiagnosed as cancers. Listen to this real quick. When you die and you go to a funeral and you get put into a casket, that casket is airtight and watertight. Do you know when they dig people up to do like after death examinations, like if they want to see how they died, and they open it up and they find worms? Where did those worms come from if the casket is watertight and airtight? They didn't come from the outside. They came from the inside. Most people have some sort of worm sometime in their lives. You'll get them. You might have some today, and then tomorrow you'll have garlic chicken, and the garlic is an anti-parasitic for some parasites, and you might get rid of them. And then a month later, you might pull an apple off of a tree and eat that, and get so. Bacterial vaginosis is a parasite, or is it a bit of an infected sweaty clam? It's been advertised on TV here with cream. We can, yeah. Parasites appearing as bacterial vaginosis. Yep, there you go. A parasite that can be mistaken for bacterial vaginosis is Trichomonas vaginalis, a sexually transmitted parasite that causes infection called trichomoniasis. Shares symptoms with bacterial vaginitis, such as a change in vaginal discharge and odor caused by a parasite instead of parasite instead of a bacterial imbalance. Other parasitic infections, like those caused by pinworms, also cause vulvovaginitis symptoms. So a lot of the problems people have aren't from what they say they're from. They're from parasites. So think about it. Think about all these dirty dicks and dirty vag people around having sex. One person has a parasite. So a lot of sexually transmitted diseases are sexually transmitted parasites. Fuck off. Bad news day. Yeah. Yeah, sexually transmitted. Often prevents, yeah, maggots are typically found on bodies that are created from fly eggs, and the coffin is divided up. Sure, I'm not. Yeah, sure, right, yeah, sure. Uh, Fly adapted to detect proposed bodies can dig out 6 feet in its legs. Do you think that's true? Do you think flies dig down and get in the airtight and watertight coffin? The reason we give dead bodies formaldehyde and stuff isn't to keep the body healthy and not stinking. So when we show the families, it's so worms don't start crawling out of you when the family's watching. This is why we embalm bodies. It's to kill all the parasites. The reason with cancer, the reason that chemotherapy works is it gets you so close to death that if it kills the parasites without killing you, then it's considered a success, theoretically. Yeah, brother, everything up. You might make a rap lyric about it. I had to dig out the fat parts of my brain. Not all coffins are airtight. So I'm not saying there isn't a chance that they could, by the worms come from you, but embalming is also what causes the body to melt. The body melts because it's being eaten. It's being deteriorated by the bacteria in your gut and other positive or negative. See, not all, like you said before, and not all parasites are non-beneficial, but they do eat you. Even though they're beneficial, they're still using your nutrition to keep them alive. When you stop putting food in you because you're dead, they keep eating you. That's how the body melts. We're not wax. Hey, look, and I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not calling you stupid. I was the same way until about 5 years ago when I finally had the time when COVID came around and I wasn't working because we weren't allowed to work. I just started deep diving into everything. The deep dart of your brain's or clam. Worms are slithering from all your facial orifices is a bad look. Yeah. Yeah. And I told like there's if you have any issue, if you have any medical issue, the first thing you should do is check to see if there's possible and the thing is when you're sleeping, a spider can crawl from outside and bite you and give you a parasite and crawl away and you don't even know, and the parasite could be on your butt crack and you think it's a pimple, all this stuff. So people have parasites all throughout their life. It's not just one infection. And let me tell you something about tapeworms real quick. In the movie industry before GLP-1, when actors and actresses wanted to lose a lot of weight for a role, they were given tapeworms. And then once they got to the weight they wanted to be at, they were given anti-parasitics to get rid of the tapeworm. This is how they were able to drop 100 pounds for a role without having to stop eating, because the parasites were eating their nutrition, but they were doing it on purpose. Do you know parasites can cure asthma? When the body dies, the cells die and the enzymes start to eat itself. Indeed, the bacteria in your gut starts spreading itself. Yeah, yeah, sure. I was deep diving into everything. 2025. Yes, tapeworm diets, they do exist. Well, we'll look it up. People who use tapeworms for diets. The use of tapeworm is illegal. Great, that's not what I asked. The tapeworm diet involves a person voluntarily ingesting tapeworm eggs or cysts, often in pill form, purchased illegally online. And you know what else they buy illegally when they're in the movie industry? Every illegal drug. It's not like, oh, it's illegal. It's illegal. Purchased legally online or from other countries. The idea that the parasite will mature in the intestines, absorb nutrients and calories from the host's food, leading to weight loss without significant changes to diets or exercise. So, that way, like, and then like these people get on the TV and they say, I took vitamin FU and I lost this weight without working. No, you didn't. You took tapeworms, you liar. Okay, so look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Celebrities like the opera singer Maria Callas used the method to lose weight have been debunked. Okay, but her tapeworm infection was likely due to uncooked meat. So they're saying she didn't lose weight from having tapeworms, but she had tapeworms. Okay, so how does that work? No, she lost the weight by doing 6 push-ups a month. Paul's body count is Jesus Chrysler. Those diets are typically lethal, even though they aren't solid numbers. A tapeworm mouth is significantly dirtier, similar to the leech, and can cause cysts. Yeah, yeah. So can sex with a dirty person. I mean, like so you can buy sterilized. Okay, let me look at this. Look at this. So I just told you that uh um flat pinworms. I think it's pinworms. Pinworms, not pinworms. Parasites can cure asthma. You can buy sterilized parasites right now delivered to your house if you have asthma to get rid of asthma. Watch this. Parasites that cure asthma. Okay, that's it. Parasites. Parasites. Okay, the parasitic worm helminth infection is common. Have lowered rates of asthma and allergies, leading to the hygiene hypothesis. Okay, now let me see if I can find it here. See if I can find it. Okay. Well, let me find out the worm, what worm it is, real quick first. What worms help with asthma? Roundworm. I think it's the round hookworm. Hookworm. It's the hookworm. Okay. Buying sterilized hookworm. Why are patients? Well, we could look at that too. I was trying to find that there was a company that let me find it real quick. Why patients are self I know some people who recycle their own stools to sift through eggs. Not talking about chickens. Immunologists are describing patients using hookworms as an attempt to treat inflammatory bowel disease, celiac disease, COPD, and eczema. Doses of juvenile hookworms retail online between $90 and $300, including shipping from Helminth Therapy Wiki. I believe that's who it was before that I saw because that's familiar. Okay. All right. So let's go to that real quick. Damn. Sure, sure, sure. So this is the thing about that, Clem. Some asthma is caused by chemistry in your body, caused by other worms. Hookworms eat those worms and balance it out. So not all asthma is asthma. You have asthma-like symptoms. This is the problem. It's not. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you can find Helmuth providers, therapy management, care, DIY incubation, stool testing, and more. Support groups, visitor comments, incredible. So people are absolutely just. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, I'm sorry we got into this. Man who went to Africa to find hookworms to cure asthma. Jasper Lawrence. Here you go. He went to Cameroon, okay, after losing medical coverage and having severe asthma. He traveled from Santa Cruz, California to Cameroon and intentionally infected himself with hookworm. When it worked, he became an advocate for it. He returned to the United States and founded the internet company selling hookworm kits. It found the attention of the FDA, accused him of selling pharmaceuticals without a license. They accused him of selling pharmaceuticals without a license for selling animals, for selling worms. Parasites could cause death. Hookworms have therapeutic properties that could aid in asthma due to their immune system benefits, right? But hookworms aren't really. Look, and there's a lot of hookworms. The hookworm in Cameroon is the specific hookworm that can help with it. I've read a lot on this. I was completely amazed by it, and I thought it was all bullshit. Overall, no, you have to understand everything about what you're doing before you do it. You can't just say, "Oh, let me take these worms or that worms." But you can get sterilized hookworms that don't have the issues. And in Hollywood, they get sterilized tapeworms when they want to lose weight before GLP-1 injections were available. So these have been used, but we're told that that like we take our pets to the vet. They're required in America to get heartworm treatments to make sure that they don't get heartworms. Why aren't we? And you say, well, dogs lick buttholes. People lick buttholes, right? And so if somebody licked the butthole and then had sex with somebody else and then had sex with somebody else and 300 people later you had sex with that person, the butthole licking is in your lineage. Max Garson. Jasper Lawrence story. Or I'll look it up in a second, brother. I wanted to try to find the actual Jasper Lyons. Hookworm store. Okay. It's not up no more. Anyway, okay, where were we at? Max Gerson. Overall thought is you shouldn't put worms and stuff in. No, abs right, right, right. But if you're dying, and the thing is, worms are going to get in you somehow. If you walk around with bare feet and stuff like that, all this stuff is possible. The Gerson treatment, JAMA Network. Max Gerson, Gerson therapy, pseudoscientific, dietary based. I love how they have to throw in there pseudoscientific. This was in 1800s. He was talking about how to cure cancer with nutrition. And one of the interesting things is some parents make their children walk bare feet to expose them to elements, right? Right, right. Okay, and what do you think? What do you think these kids get when they do that? Do you think it's just germs? No. When like parents let dogs lick their face and stuff like that, it's not the germs, it's the parasites. Some parasites enter your body like a vaccine. The parasites get in your body detects the parasite and creates an immune response, and then now it knows how to handle stuff like that. So this is what's the truth as far as I can find out. The whole germ theory thing, think about the financial implications. If you know that parasites cause most illness, and you can find pills like Tylenol, say parasite piss can cause headaches, right? And then you can find Tylenol, which counteracts the parasite piss that might cause a headache. It doesn't get rid of the parasites, so what does that make you? It makes you a lifelong Tylenol customer. All right, what was I? I was gonna make a comment. Eating a bit of stodge. What up, cat? Right. But that's what that is. Gerson therapy involves organic vegetarian diet with nutritional supplements and enemas. So those are ways to get rid of parasites. The enemas is clearing the gut, but a lot of other parasites. So that will work in some cancers. The reason chemotherapy appears to work for cancers is because those cancers aren't always cancers. A lot of them are parasite egg masses. And if you can get the body so close to death, you put so many poisons in the body that as the parasites are eating and drinking your blood, that's now full of this toxin, and then they die. If you don't die, then the therapy works. I think you have a good argument, Rich. No problem. Tell me why you disagree. Tell me why you disagree. What do you know that I don't that makes you disagree that you can tell me? I would, you don't have to. We can stop talking about it, but I would love to know why. And what I miss? I missed it. About what? Medication and depression? What I miss? I missed something about medication and depression. Oh, here's another very good thing. I just thought I didn't see it. Medication and depression. Parasitic infections that cause depression symptoms. Toxoplasmosis gondii, when we just talk about that, are linked to depression symptoms through blah, 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 blah. Parasitic infection and drug cravings.
Help is available by calling 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. That number again is 988.
Toxoplasmosis gondii and the appearance of drug cravings. Research suggests a complex link between Toxoplasmosis gondii and substance use. They know that people that have these tend to be drug seekers. I don't know anything more than you, but I just don't think there's parasites. Okay, all right, okay, okay. Why doesn't our bodies attack parasites? Our bodies don't always successfully attack parasites because parasites have evolved a complex strategy to evade and manipulate the immune system. Because I wouldn't our body notice that and attack it because it's foreign. Right, right. I'm not. Look, I'm trying to teach you what I know. If it's because of an internal feeling that you think this, I just want to know if you know something that why would you think like you can do the same thing I'm doing. You can do this, and the thing is, I want the best for you. And a lot of the shit people go through is because of parasitic infection. They're not big ass worms. They're microscopic, like even things like eczema and psoriasis. Parasites and eczema. Parasites can cause eczema. Parasites and psoriasis. Parasites can affect psoriasis through skin irritation or by triggering from gut infections. So it's the thing is parasites can cause a lot of the problems that people have, and they're not big. You can't see these things. What's the size of the average parasite? 1 to 20 microns. 1 to 20 microns. Oh, you probably can't. Can you see that? Yeah. For large helmets, and the beef tapeworm can be 10 meters in length. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones that are so small. Go ahead, talk. Oh, right, sure. No, I agree. I agree. And look. The if you want to jump on a live, yeah, do it. Let's do it. I'll set it up. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it. I just want. I'm not saying that if you're coming to me and you say I've got cancer, I'm not saying oh it's not cancer. I'm saying it could possibly not be. So do this very inexpensive $12 thing, getting rid of tape, getting rid of doing a parasite cleanse, rather than. And it upsets me that it's not even considered an option. You want to jump on, girl? I'm gonna give you a link. I'm not saying you're wrong. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. Not zero, 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 zero. I'm not saying that at all, Clem. What I'm saying is psoriasis is a thing. There's also parasites that cause psoriasis symptoms or that can create it. So you can get them from either way. So it makes sense to me to say if you've got something, why not do a parasite cleanse first? See what goes away, then take a company's pills. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying these are the causes of these things. I'm saying they also exist. So there is cancer. Yes, there's also parasites that look like cancer. So the problem is when you go to the doctors, they should start with getting rid of trying to get rid of possible parasites. This is my issue. My issue is a lot of the stuff ADHD. Okay, which parasites cause ADHD symptoms? Toxoplasmosis gondii. So if you have a cat and you have ADHD, getting rid of it might not be ADHD. If you get rid of the parasites and it goes away, then it's not. If you get rid of the parasites and it stays, or you don't have any parasites, then it's actually ADHD. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and Toxoplasmosis gondii is half of all people on Earth when tested have it. You can have it for a month and get rid of it and this and that, but most people, 99.9% of people that get put on medications aren't tested for to see if it's parasites. Because think, when you walk into the doctor and you say, "I can't think, I can't concentrate, I can't this, I can't that," this sounds like ADHD. Here's some pills. Not sounds like ADHD, but also it could be a very common parasite that causes this. So let's get rid of that. Typically, people wouldn't assume that their symptoms come from parasite. Actual symptoms are. Right, right. And that's my problem. My problem is, why don't they? They don't do it because it's not profitable. Yeah. Right, right. That's right. That's right. 100%. You're 100% right. But they should. They should, because it's so inexpensive. Like, look at this. Look at this. My whole family splits one bottle of this twice a year. That's the problem right there. They think if they say they have parasites, they're unclean. That's what they think. But it's about that. It's not, like I said, just one parasite that causes a lot of the problems, or could cause a lot of the problems in America. Think about all the people that are on ADHD medications, right? They've never had their blood checked to see if they have ADHD. It's a psychological test, but there's things that can cause those symptoms, and therein lies the problem. That's exactly right. That's called a stigma, a social stigma, a taboo. And if I owned a company that made money on ADHD pills, I would reinforce that stigma to make more money. Let's see. Amazon antiparasitics. And look what's in this: black walnut, wormwood, clove bud, pumpkin seed, artichoke, berberine. But what this is what I get right here. This is what me, my mother, my father, and my brother all use. Okay, we're smart. Where's the price? $15. $15, and that one bottle can last you a year, right? And it's like, so if you got any of the issues that could either be parasitically infected, especially if you have pets. If you have pets, you probably have parasites. At least Toxoplasmosis gondii, but there's tens of thousands of different parasites that you can have. These are just so common. It's so common that they tell pregnant women not to change litter boxes. Someone else. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good, Clem, because it shows. This is the way. Look, I thought the same way. Are you stupid? I don't have parasites. I'm a freaking man. I got freaking testosterone. And then I was like, oh shit, I got parasites. The art house, yeah, yeah. But yeah, this it's so what I want people to know is, I want people to know, don't tell anybody. But if you have any of the problems that could be caused by parasites, get some of this, take care of it. If it doesn't take care of it, then you go to the doctor and say, I've got this problem. I've already done a parasite cleanse and I still have the issues. And that's it. That's it. People do freaking heroin off of bathroom floors. Chat GPT said something awesome about my pet, Voltaire, my pet bunny today. I can pretend I'm in the U.S. and it's Thanksgiving, so I have an excuse to overeat. What did he say, Cat? He told me Voltaire was a 1 in a million bunny. There you go. That's beautiful. Did you see this? Oops. Bam. What up, man? And even said, well, of course, he was a 1 in a million to me, but be objective. And I, That's what he said. I have a cat. And cutesy, cutesy, cutesy. And I'll tell you something interesting too. And Kat knows all this already. There's something called wormwood. If you've ever heard of the liquor drink absinthe? Absinthe has an anti-parasitic in it called wormwood. America and Canada made. Let me double make sure that it's still legal in Canada. Why did Canada make absinthe illegal? Okay, Canada never did. It's always been legal. Why did America make absinthe illegal? Okay, so they didn't make it illegal, but they banned it from 1912 to 2007 because it contains wormwood. So there was a whole big thing that the medical industry did to say that wormwood was a hallucinogenic. It made you see green fairies. It was all a lie. Wormwood's an anti-parasitic. So you had that's why it's called wormwood. People thought the reason because they took it and then worms came out of their butthole. They thought that the wormwood was causing the worms, but the wormwood was killing the parasites and causing them to be expelled. So for 100 years in America, they didn't allow us to have a liquor drink that was used as a medicine to get rid of parasites because they made so much money off of things like I'm telling you, telling people like when you have or people going and saying I have a problem, the doctor says sounds like this, here's a pill for it that we came up with, rather than saying sounds like this, let's take care of the parasites first and then see what you have left over. um where's my lamb gone? What did he say? Eating splooge spunk. Then ChatGPT elaborated and said the way he was bonded to me is deeper than most bunnies bonded to humans, and that's why he was truly one in a million. That's beautiful. It didn't say that about my two current bunnies when I asked him to analyze them. Yeah, I think it's disgusting too. It's absolutely disgusting. So usually, like the way that people used to drink absinthe is to make it very very cold. You had to dump it over an ice cube, and then you dumped it over. You put a sugar cube. You dumped it over the sugar cube, and so that would make it cloudy. Chat GPT said a nervous systems synced up when we would cuddle. Ain't that cute? Ain't that cute? How to make a glass of absinthe. There you go. Lay a absinthe spoon across the glass. Place a sugar cube on the spoon. Slowly pour cold water over the sugar cube. Show you, sorry. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Right. When the sugary water hits the absinthe, it makes it cloudy. So slowly pour cold water over the sugar cube and into the glass, aiming for a ratio of 3 to 5 parts water to 1 part absinthe. And then let me see if we can find any images of it. So here's an absinthe spoon. So this was what people used back in the 14, 15, 1600s to get rid of parasites and also to get drunk. And here it is. This is what they said you would see the green fairy. Here it is. And then it gets cloudy like that. And this was thought to be magic and black magic. So this is what they used to make it taboo. Chat GPT can tell you so much just from photos. Wormwood has the possibility of being toxic to humans, and it was once caused. I don't think the wormwood was the cause of Van Gogh's death. No, 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 no. The absinthe is because you drink yourself to death, and I think you might be talking about what's his face? Not Van Gogh. I think you're talking about the poet. What was his name? Cat in Baltimore. Oh damn it! The Raven. He wrote the Raven. Who wrote the Raven? Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah. Van Gogh was a heavy drinker. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So yeah. So that's absolutely. But wormwood can kill you. Absolutely. So can Tylenol. It's so absolutely 100%. But the deaths attributed to it were not. Okay. So let's see. If you drank absinthe, what would kill you first? wormwood, or alcohol? If you need help, call. Even if you were drinking the strongest absinthe, you would need to drink more than 8 bottles of once to be for the so alcohol poisoning would kill you first, right? So the wormwood ain't gonna do nothing to you except for get rid of the worms, right? So but Edgar Allan Poe and Edgar Allan Poe died. Okay, well let's look into what's his face? Let's look into Van Gogh. Vincent Van Gogh's death. Self-inflicted gunshot wound. Oh, geez. It's a little bit different. A self-inflicted gunshot wound self-inflicted sustained 2 days earlier after a psychiatric clinic found him temporarily at peace, but plagued by mental illness and depression. While the suicide is accepted narrative, some scholars debate whether it was accidental or possibly inflicted by 2 boys, although evidence points to suicide. So there's a Google's got yeah you got the reason that I speak from the AI overview is because I've studied it studied these things previously, not Vincent Van Gogh and whatnot, but the parasite stuff. I've spent hundreds of hours reading and studying books, like paper books and Google Scholar. And like, so one of the interesting things is to read non-English sources, like what the Chinese do, what the Indians from India do, and stuff like that. And then because they still use a lot of like Ayurvedic medicine, which is herbal and whatnot, and basically our medical system in the UK, Canada, and the United States is based off of companies that make pills. And when the Rothschilds started creating medicine, the medical industry, they told doctors that they couldn't tell people to use food to cure themselves. They had to promote the pills that they made, which were made from the oil industry. No, Edgar Allan Poe died supposedly from laudanum. I just thought you were incorrect about that. I thought you had the people mixed up because he died from drink. Laudanum is opium and wine mixed together. Edgar Allan Poe's death. Mysterious, confusing serves found delirium. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, right. I just thought you were confusing the two people. So he died of mysterious death in Baltimore. That's where me and Kat are from. He was 40, and official cause of death was congestion of the brain. The exact cause remains known. Theories exist: being drugged, forced to vote multiple times, rabies, alcoholism, murder, combination of the factors. But Edgar Allan Poe, and laudanum. Yeah, and it's like it goes back to what we were saying earlier, Clem. Most murders go unsolved. So a lot of people kill people. Laudanum, okay. Edgar Allan Poe. Allan Coe. And laudanum. Edgar Allan Poe did use laudanum, a tincture of opium that was readily available at his time as a painkiller and tranquilizer, and he nearly died from an overdose of it in 1848. While the incident didn't cause him his death, it remains a subject of theories ranging from alcoholism to suicide. So, so what is laudanum? Laudanum is 10% opium powder in alcohol. So typically it was wine used for crying to quiet crying babies. Hitler had a suicide pact with his wife, biting into a cyanide pot and shooting himself, I believe. So, 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 they never found either one of their bodies. They found a piece of skull with a hole in it, and supposedly they burned both of his bodies in an open pit using gasoline, which doesn't get hot enough to burn the human body to incineration. They think that Hitler escaped to, help me out here, Kat. Starts with an A. Let's look it up. Damn it. What country did a lot of Nazis escape to? Argentina. Close. All right. Many Nazis escaped to South America, Argentina. So they've actually found people with Hitler's DNA coming from Argentina, thinking that he didn't die, he didn't kill himself, she didn't kill herself. They escaped and they had kids. It's interesting, and I don't know that for sure at all, obviously. Theory of Hitler escaping to Argentina. Did Hitler escape from his bunker and live in Argentina after World War II? Did Hitler kill himself at the end of the Second World War? The question has enthralled conspiracy theories and is the subject of the first episode of the new podcast. Allied forces closed it in. He had always... Okay, that's just an ad. Okay, the theory that most one on Earth could simply vanish. Without a doubt, one of the most... Somehow evading capture is incredible if true. Perhaps greatest magic trick. Could there be some legitimacy? Demolished remains of his bunker. No, they were partially burned and then quietly recovered by the Soviet Union. They were both fully cremated together. No, I don't think so. We'll check. What up, Mike? I didn't think his body was. He didn't want his body desecrated, displayed on by his moon. Is that what they say? Was Hitler's body ever recovered? So here's the problem. What I was just saying. The only confirmed evidence was remains of a fragment of jawbone and a piece of skull held in the Russian. Where was Hitler cremated? Okay. So Ayla was partially burned in the garden in Berlin, and I'll look it up. But shortly after his suicide, his remains were later exhumed by the Soviets and subject to final complete cremation. So the thing is, was it his body? Right. So they probably took some, and this is the conspiracy theory. This is what's awesome, is they didn't have DNA evidence back in 1945 or 1970. His fingerprints were gone. His teeth were gone, and I don't even think they had dental records of him back then. The X-ray machines were just getting going back then. They didn't use X-rays for dentistry. So the thing is, we don't know. But let's check this out. Okay. The Soviet troops discovered the remains after identifying them through dental records, secretly moved them and buried them in various unmarked graves around Berlin for the next 25 years. So, do you think they actually did that? All of the other mass murderers of the world, their bodies are being displayed. Do you think they moved a body around, or do you think he had so many billions of dollars in gold that he paid off politicians to make up such a thing? And this is the thing, I don't know. I think it's fascinating. And if I was him, that's what I'd do. The thing is, why are they big? Why didn't they leave his body there in 1945? Why did they exhume it? And then completely, they respected him so much that they were giving a proper creation. The burning among the artillery covered the remains in ash, and remains were found by the Soviets after the identification of down records, and his body Hitler removed. Hitler went to Argentina. Right. That's what I heard, Paul. And like, obviously we don't know, but what I'm saying is someone this powerful didn't kill themselves. There's no way he would have put a bullet in himself. They're not, oh, honey. Oh, it was so romantic. Him and his lover, they put cyanide in their mouth, and with their final kiss, they crunched down on it. He only had one ball. So that's what I was saying, Paul. He went to Argentina, and right, and so you can't. Everything's a lie. Everything's smoke and mirrors. Let's see. Was Hitler's DNA ever found in his descendants from Argentina? Let's see. Hope it says no. Okay, it's not been found in any legend says Argentina. Scientific and circumstances back to those key facts. His death. Okay, let's find out something besides that. His micro penis. Hitler's DNA, how a battlefield souvenir. And it's not that Hitler had a micro. Yeah, that I absolutely believe. So this is what I was just trying to tell Clem for a second, that there was so much money. Listen, so Hitler followed the eugenics laws. He came to America. He was educated by Americans, and the eugenicists said, "Hey, let's go to this country. We'll fund you." The Rothschilds funded him to do a eugenics thing that wasn't popular to do in America, so they did it somewhere else. And everything has to do with religion. They wanted it to be closer to Israel, so they could finally close in on Israel and take it. Anyway. Okay, the Gettysburg holds the Adolf Hitler, a blood-stained couch where Hitler shot himself. The swatch was taken to Berlin. One of the Americans granted access to the bunker. They clearly showed the couch blood testing. It's tested positive for human blood, and it was not paint. Close gunshot wound. Person collapsing on the couch. Distribution did not match stage block. To confirm the DNA, that's what Gene Paul. So did they do it or not? What's going on? DNA matches Hitler's paternal line. The forensic report, close range gunshot wound, blood. So the combination of scientific. Yep. So, there is no, his paternal 100%. Hold on, what? So this is something interesting too. So there's no Jewish ancestry. Okay, let's not talk about that. I thought cream and cake. Lamb has at least one ball. I can confirm. I assure you. Who funded the weapons to ISIS? Right. So yeah, it's all war games. Junko Fruta. Junko Fruta. JUN. Oops. Okay, come on. I can't spell. Murder of Junko Furuta. Torture abuse. Whoa, what the heck? All right. Talk like Hank. I almost threw up when I read what happened there. Jesus Christ, what are we looking at? 44 days in hell. Nine months ago. Four minutes. Let's do this. Oh, it's a song? Oh, it's a song. Okay. I probably will. Cement coffin. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay, all right, let's see. What's up, Jungle? Um, January 18th. 17-year-old high school student who was abducted, raped, tortured, and murdered. Her abuse was mainly perpetrated by four male teenagers and took place over a 40-day period. In Japan, the case is known as concrete encased high school girl murder case. Her body was discovered inside a concrete-filled drum. The prison sentences served by the perpetrators from 7 to 20 years. That's it. The brutality of the case shocked Japan. She was 8, born on, she grew up in where she lived with her parents, older brother. All right, what happened? Kidnapping. On the evening, Mariano rode around, yada, 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 yada. Fruit was a part time job, acting on her orders. They kicked her off her bicycle and fled the scene. Under pretense of witnessing the attack, they approached her and offered to walk her home. After further gaining her trust, they walked nearby, threatened her, telling her that he was a Yakuza member and that he would spare her only if she followed the orders. That night, taxi, they raped her. Later, they called her house, bragged about the rape. After what she said not to let her leave. In the early morning, they took Park in a hotel where they told her that they knew where she lived and the Yakuza would kill her family if she attempted to escape. She was confined to a room on the second floor, gang raping her. Jesus Christ, 40 days. Her parents contacted police. Hold on. Okay, so 2 days later, her parents contacted the police. To discourage the investigation, the kidnappers forced her to call her mother 3 times to say that she had run away but was safe staying with friends. The group just dropped the pretense when it became clear that the parents would not report them to police. The parents later claimed they did not intervene because they were afraid their son, who had been increasingly violent towards them. Wow. Jesus Chrysler. I am eating chocolate cake. I'm looking for Black Friday deals. Oh, gee, I've never heard of it before. He burned her thighs and several times with lighter fluid. See, okay, so people are freaking evil, right? This shit, like they kicked her. One guy kicked her off of her motorbike. Then another guy from the same gang said, "Oh, I can't believe he did that. I'll help you." And then they kidnapped her. Due to her injuries, she became unable to walk or use the downstairs toilet. Okay, sorry, and was confined to the room's floor, where her face becoming swollen, unrecognizable. Her wounds had started to emit a foul odor. After losing money in a game of mahjong the night before, they decided to take his anger out on her. He ignited a candle and dripped hot wax on her face, placed 2 shortened candles on her eyelids, and forced her to drink her own piss. She was lifted, and future Furuta was lifted and kicked, fell into the stereo unit, began to fit of convulsions. To prevent them from being stained with blood, they covered their hands in plastic bags for beating her. They poured and look, and this wasn't an enemy of theirs. This was just some chick. People that just want to be evil. There's this isn't revenge or anything like that. In 89 they were so 89 so they got a 20 the 7 to 20 year sentence. So that means they got out in 2009. Hold on. Let's see what happened here. I want to find out what happened. This is why the death penalty is needed. Captors. T, I can't spell. Eventually released from prison. Light sentences because they were juveniles. Originally sentenced to 17 years. It was increased to 20 after his appeal. He's since been released. Received 5 to 7 years. Who was later arrested for the attempted murder of a businessman. This is what I gotta say about evil. Me and ND talked about this a little bit. We were talking about if evil people or if people that do evil things get into heaven if they find God. I think people that are truly evil do not have the eyes left to ever see God. They are completely blinded by it. They're completely blinded by evil and they do shit like that. Look at this. The other guy released and subsequently re-offended. There's these people are here to hurt people, and that's their job. They don't find they don't search for a savior. And the thing is, the people that kill saying that God told them to, it ain't God telling them to do that. It's freaking, it's the devil, it's the demons telling them to do that. And if they're confused enough, they'll say, okay, well, all right, you said do this, you're the boss. But if they would have read about their Lord and Savior, they would know that they would never be asked to do such a thing. So it's absolutely weird. And why do so many people? Let me see. How much of the population of the world are violent? About 1% of the population account for 63.2% of the violent crime. Right? So the thing is, if especially like in America now, we let people back out like no problem. And I think the people she have I think the people that are this evil, like the thing is, like the light on crime stuff, that oh their mothers didn't like them or whatever, and their fathers touched them on their butthole or whatever, so they killed people. This kind of shit, like you have people now that hate the country that they rule in. I'm jealous you're eating chocolate cake. It's absolutely fucked up that when people decide to do horrible things to people, they're not held accountable for their actions. Like in America now, we find this guy just lit this woman on fire. He had 73 or 74 prior arrests. Man that got arrested for lighting a woman on fire. Okay, November 17th. He doused a 26-year-old with gasoline and lit her on fire in an unprovoked attack. So she was just chilling there, right? And he reportedly yelled "burn bitch" and "burn alive bitch" during his arrest. He had 70 prior arrests and 8 felony convictions. So it's like you have the 1% of evil people. Some of these people are judges and politicians, and they love this. They love this. They're like, "Oh, you beat you did this to that person, you beat let me let you back out. What up? What up, pal?" There's horrific people out there who get enjoyment from things like this. I've seen some nasty, nasty stuff beyond what you think is horrific. Right. And I was telling Clem uh about, like, it's just like if you don't like pineapple smoothies, you think they're disgusting, but you see people enjoying them, you're like, how can they enjoy that? That's the same thing. You can find happiness in life, and other people get that feeling being evil. We're going over some crazy stuff. What up, Clem? So yes, some people, the invigorating feeling that people get, the emotional burst of what do you call it, euphoria. Some people get that from love and seeing dogs, drinking water and and some people get that feeling when they shove a knife into somebody or watch somebody light on fire. This person lit this girl on fire. After 70 prior arrests and 8 felony convictions. He went and filled a plastic bottle up with gasoline. He was homeless, so he just found a plastic bottle, got a little bit of gas from the gas station that drained out of the nozzle, dumped it on her, and lit her on fire and said, "Burn, bitch, burn, burn alive, bitch." That's crazy. That's crazy shit, right? Lamb shares some cake. He wants you to share your cake. Yeah, yeah, and saws chocolate cake. Oops. No way. No way. Look at that. That's AI. Gotta be. Maybe not, but looks like it. Who would do that? That's so rude. That's an Etsy listing. That's definitely AI. Yeah, see, there's smoke coming out of the top. You can't see it. There's smoke coming out of the top. Oops. All right, but let me go back to actual chocolate cake. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Look at that. Look at that. Man. See, I get turned on by chocolate cake. I want it. I want it. It looks so good. I love some chocolate. Like look, like even that, this is called marble cake. Oh, this is lemon chocolate cake. It looks like marble cake, but even that stuff is so good. I get turned on by chocolate cake is so real. What do you think would cause the feeling of euphoria in a negative way? Do you think this person has some stem from a long period of time? So this is the interesting thing, Clementine, and this is why I got so interested in parasites. People talk about saying things are genetic. Some things are genetic. I don't think hate's genetic, but why does it seem to get passed down? If I can find a cure for hate, I would love to do it. If it's possible that someone has a parasitic infection that messes with their brain and causes hate towards somebody, their children are likely to have that because you eat the same foods, you live in the same house, you share the same utensils. So I would like to believe that people are good. And the reason bad people seem to keep having bad people, if it just so happens to be, I know it probably isn't because I'm cynical, but I would love to believe that that people could believe your dad was an asshole. You're becoming an asshole. Maybe it's because you guys share this. Maybe it is genetic, but I would hope that it wasn't. Hate is not genetic, but if you're around someone that has hate for someone, that person will want to hate the same. Right, right, and that absolutely can. But then there's also it also doesn't happen sometimes. Like you have racist people, and then their kids aren't racist, and then like and back and forth. So it can go. Calling me Clementine, let's be serious. Right. Influence is huge. Influence is absolutely huge. And this goes back to talking about value systems. The value system people live in that allows them to hate is passed on to their kids. You can you can have these thoughts, oh, I hate that person, but I can't hate them. So let me push that to the back of my mind. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I wish the best for you. And you can say that. You can choose to break the cycle. Ghostbusters. Dude, that was great. Great. Dude, I thought I made him happy. Did it make him mean? Did I thought that made him. Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. The slime in Ghostbusters 2. Psychomagnotheric slime, psychoreactive reddish pink substance. It was created by the negative emotions, not causing it. The Ghostbusters learned that it could be positively charged. That's right. So they got the Statue of Liberty and they started being really patriotic. Oh, for fuck's sake, I hate you. That's not nice. Why do you hate me? Ghostbusters. Sorry, Ms. L. Yeah, right. Formed from the negative emotions of New York citizens such as hate, anger, and violence. And then look how hateful they are now. So maybe that was a documentary. Yeah, but it's interesting. And the thing is, so I want to tell you something. Back in the late 1800s, there was studies done to say, why are Southern Americans so stupid? Guess what they found? It was a parasite. Check this out. What makes Southerners stupid? Parasite that makes Southern Americans stupid. Look at this. There was a time when the lower classes in the American South were considered lazy and dim-witted, a stereotype that still survives. But the stereotype was rooted in fact. Hookworms were sapping the Southerners' life force. Right? This is crazy. So an entire group of people, it wasn't genetic. It wasn't my daddy dumb, so I'm dumb. It was parasites. I'm going to make a documentary of lamb spelling mistakes. So the reason that they found behind it was that most people before plumbing, most places in the United States, especially in the North, when they dug their poop pits, they dug them deep enough that the poop would fall and plop in the bottom. But in the South, they didn't dig them very deep. They dug shallow troughs. So the hookworms from the poop would get to their feet or crawl on them while they were sitting there pooping. And this was discovered. So redneck stupidity isn't genetic. It was a parasite. That's two people saying we're going through a dispute. And guess who it was? Hope you're here, Paul. The Rockefellers. We are as solid as granite. If you were nice to me, this wouldn't happen, right? Yeah, did you see that? So the reason Southerners were created stupid were created. Well, there was a time when lower class American South were considered lazy, dim-witted, a stereotype that still survives today. The stereotype was rooted in fact. Hookworms, it turns out, were zapping Southerners' life force. So there actually was a whole group of people they thought were inbred and this and that, but they weren't. They were all had just had parasitic infections. And guess who did the research into it? The Rockefellers. The Rockefellers granted the eradication of hookworm 1909 to 1914 to estimate. So what they were doing is they were studying. They were saying, how can we use these hookworms? So if we can get these hookworms into everybody and make everybody stupid and lazy, they'll just do what we tell them. That's exactly right. Proof that he's solid as granite. That should have been private. Rockefellers eradicated natural remedies. Right, right. They created the medicine in America made from the oil industry. And then they worked with the politicians to say, we're going to start a medical license, and only people with medical licenses can be doctors. And if they try to use anything other than our medicines, they lose their license. Saws. Sorry. But yeah, so this whole parasite thing is there's a lot more to it than you think. They owned 90% of all of America's oil in the 1880s. Southerners aren't lazy and dumb. They just had parasites. And this is what they called it, the germ of laziness. So going back real quick, Clem, to what we were talking about, a lot of things like when kids play with pets and parents make their kids, the parents think they're getting germs. They're not getting germs. They're getting parasites. And then but the body will take care of the parasites typically. It's when you might get sick and you have a fever and your immune system slows down that they can take over. Now Bill Gates, yeah, Bill's messing around with mosquitoes. All, yep, yep, yeah. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Yep, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? You got yeah, absolutely crazy. What would you think the difference between a bacteria and a parasite is? But what is a germ? That's the thing. They say getting germs, but bacteria. Well, let's see. Let's check this out. Can bacteria be parasitic? Let's see. Let's see. So, what's the difference? Some bacteria act as parasites. So it's just a different word. So they can say, let's sell you antibiotics to take care of bacteria, when actually they selectively can take care of some parasites without doing a broad spectrum parasite cleanse. So Legionella, here you go, Mycoplasma pneumoniae, which causes pneumonia. Pneumonia is caused by a bacterial parasite. That's a wild statement. Does cat get that when she plays with her bunny? Right. Right. So the thing is, so a bacteria is an organism, and a parasite's an organism. It's just how they're classified. They things are much more simple than scientists make it seem. They make it seem so complicated, so you see them as the person to go to for the answers. And even if they were all called parasites, or all called bacteria, antibiotics. Somebody just said, "Does anyone need a place to live ASAP and have a job? I am moving." Bacteria only acts as a parasite by living on her. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. 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 Some do and some don't. So the thing is, they're not even classifying things properly. They classify it for the marketing, how to get the layman like me and you to understand these things. But the thing is, that's our dynamic. Lamb's talking about petting bunnies and putting his girlfriend in the brain power, and putting the brain power in. The bacteria exploits us by, yeah, similar definition. Exactly. Yeah. It's one and the same. It's two sides of the same coin. That's our dynamic. Yeah, life's interesting. Lambs, rabbits. Enough anyway. Yeah, these things are very interesting, and I think it's knowing marketing and how marketing is. I think if they called bacteria parasites, then people would be like, "Oh, I've got bacteria. Let me take an anti-parasite." Oh, no, don't take that. Don't take that. Don't take that. We need to make sure you keep getting whatever. But yeah, it's a scam. Parasitic bacteria, E. coli strains produce tuberculosis. What do you mean? Tuberculosis was a parasite? Yeah, well, it sure was. E. coli, ulcers, salmonella, chlamydia. And this is what's interesting too. Some are considered parasitic, and so most like herpes and stuff like that. That's a parasite. That's a sexually transmitted parasite. Lamb is loquacious. What's that about chlamydia? Chlamydia is a parasite. You can take an anti like so what the medical industry wants to do is say, how do we get rid of just chlamydia, rather than giving you a parasite cleanse and getting rid of everything and keeping you from coming to us to get more medications? How do we just get rid of chlamydia? So when they make these, they're not, they call them wide spectrum or narrow spectrum. Yeah, like that's where they found their genius. Look, we can get rid of just this one and leave all the other parasites in you. There are some that act like parasites, but some are just bacteria. Just bacteria with intercellular survival. They're obligated parasites like chlamydia and replicate their cells. Yeah, but what's the so yes, there's all of these words, but what's the point? The point is we have parasites in us, and the thing is they call things other things. They call things that are parasites things other than parasites because they want the term parasite out of our mouths. That's why you haven't heard it in years and years and years and years. Paul dated a girl named Chlamydia. What are your thoughts on Shivambu with elixir? I've never heard of it. Shivambu elixir. Shivambu elixir. Shivambu elixir. Shivambu elixir. Bamboo elixir. Shiv. The Shivambu. It's a term for a urine therapy, which applies human urine for medical. So I've definitely heard of human urotherapy, which is PP. It's a term for practice of urine therapy. Okay. I've never heard of it as Shivambu. I've heard of urine therapy. Morning urine, right? Oops. Urotherapy, also known as Shivambu or uropathy, auto urine therapy, alternative medicine, the application of human urine or medical cosmetic purposes. So this is something very interesting. Do you know before testing for diabetes, like using blood, they used to take doctors used to say pee in this cup, and then they would taste it. Doctors would taste the pee, the urine, and if it was sweet, then they knew you had diabetes because you didn't have enough insulin. They didn't know this at the time, but you didn't have enough insulin in your body to digest the sugar, so the sugar came out in your urine stream. Yeah, we talked about that the other day. Yeah, yep. They do that at the end of Diwali, their festival of lights. So, a particular area does. Do you think we expose ourselves to every day? Everything you eat that comes from a store, think about it. When you go to a store and they have stacks of apples, if a parasite is on one of those apples and while it's sitting there for areas, it can get over. So even though they were washed, the person that's putting up, or some dude scratching his asshole, then he grabs this lemon to squeezes it to see if it's firm enough that he's going to buy it, and squeezes this one and picks this one up and that one up and sorts through. Absolutely. Picking their noses, rubbing their bunnies. I guess I have the brains. Yeah, definitely. 27 years over me, and I'm the way smart foster longer has a similar state to me. What was I just talking about? Yeah. This is the thing. Parasites don't have. It's the stigma of people saying I'm clean. I don't. No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, and you can't be sterile. Like you would die. Shut up. Brains and beauty. But yeah, so urine therapy. So look at this. Why did doctors taste key for diabetes? Doctors tasted urine to diagnose diabetes because high blood sugar causes sweet tasting substance to be excreted. Direct indicator: the sweet taste was a result of direct excess sugar in blood and urine. It started in the 17th century, noting the wonderfully sweet quality of diabetic urine. But yeah, so and you know what they did? You know how they cured or treated diabetes back in the day? They put people on what was called the beef and water diet. So no vegetables, just beef and water, and that's why people didn't die from diabetes back in the day. Like diabetes isn't from a lack of going to the doctor and buying their insulin. It's a nutritional problem. It's because you didn't get enough stuff in you. Like, yeah, wonderfully sweet with notes of occasional seasonal fruits. this practice um, was continued for centuries. It was eventually replaced by more scientific methods starting in the 19th century. The chemical tests for sugar in urine, leading to blood tests and glucose monitors. But yeah, fruit, as in clementine fruit. Let me see if I can taste your clementine. But look, in 600 BC, they used to have you pee on the ground, and if ants were attracted to your pee, then you had diabetes and you needed to change your diet. But people didn't die, I mean, like meat and beef diet for diabetes. I'm sorry, no. Beef, the beef and water prescription for diabetics. Beef and water diet for diabetics. Damn it. It keeps trying to tell me to just go see my doctor. In the 19th century, how were diabetics treated? They gave them opium. Starvation, low carb diets recommended for reducing carbohydrate and increasing fats. But the various chemicals and drugs and magnesia, potassium salts, effectiveness were debated. So this is the interesting thing about the clementines are a bit seedy. I gotta make a comment. You just did, brains. So they used to um oh shit, now I forgot what I was talking about with it. With the diabetes, they used to. Oh, right. So they now they're talking about um parasites that live on the pancreas. So when the islets of Langerhans, which are the cells on the pancreas that secrete insulin, they live on there so that when the cells secrete insulin, the parasites eat the insulin before it can get in your bloodstream. Check this out. Parasites on the pancreas that eat insulin. Uh, so this is the co-prevalence, which means the parasitic infections and diabetes. So people that have diabetes tend to have parasites. So there can be diabetes not from parasites. There can be diabetes from your liver or your pancreas not working properly, but it could also be from parasites eating your insulin. I want to eat your insulin, baby. So this is the problem. And here you go. Look at that. Toxoplasmosis gondii in the pancreas could damage, and that's the same one. That's just the same one from cats. So toxoplasmosis gondii in the pancreas could damage the pancreatic cells. Hence, insulin secretion would be affected, which leads to increased risk of diabetes. So the thing is, why don't they tell diabetics? Let's get rid of. So even if you do have diabetes, some of it could be made worse from parasites. So why don't we give you a parasite cleanse? Because people say, I wash my hands. 256 confirmed parasitic serum samples included. 95 of them had toxoplasmosis, 87 hydrosis, and 74 for cystocirrhosis infections. I don't feel like going over all the numbers and stuff right now, but yeah. So that's it. There's a huge thing. Har. Has anyone proven that? Yeah. Supposedly, yes. No, not uncontaminated. No. And every lab in the world can get an uncontaminated, purified sample of the cold or influenza A and B. But supposedly, this was as of a year ago, you cannot order. You know why you can't order it? Because it's a bioweapon. But they said the 2 days ago, Paul, the Trump administration's FDA said that it was, or CDC, FDA, CDC said that it was lab made, and AIDS was lab made also. Um, um, I'm not gonna get myself in trouble, but yeah. So yeah. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Let's go here. Oh, damn it! What is it? PBT. Let me see if I can find it. Here you go. Look at this shit.
With puberty blockers, with even the movement of transgender, back in the days, like basic question for you.
So the head of the current FDA, this was 1 day ago. 1 day ago, they said the government's now releasing that AIDS came from a lab. AIDS, HIV, and puberty blockers and bioweapon research. And he says it. He says it came from a lab. And so Fauci, they're talking. Fauci Biden did a I can't remember the term. He gave them a window pardon, saying anything they did from today to 10 years before today, let them be pardoned for it, which doesn't make any sense. It should be whatever you're in jail for or being blamed for now or whatever legally, then let that go. They're saying anything that you find out that he did, let's let him go. And so that's what's absolutely crazy. Gandhi eye. Yeah. I tried so hard to get it. I didn't wash my hands for 3 years. No vax, no mask. Traveled all over the world. The only thing I got was a hangover. And Gandhi eye. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So so think about it. The people that are making these weapons know that like all these sexually transmitted parasites work. So they're like, let's work on the parasites. Let's see what we can do. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's been coming out. And then like the whole trust the science thing. The science is that we get told is whatever has the most marketing dollars behind it. Think about all the labs all over the world, all of the schools doing all the research, and they might find things like, oh my goodness, look, I found the cure for this. But if a company doesn't put millions of dollars in research behind it, we're never going to hear about it. Like, dude, do you know that the lithium battery was made in 1977? It didn't come out till like 20 years ago. So we've had this stuff for almost 50 years. And they didn't. They said, well, we got all these other batteries that we can use that we can sell. And guess who made it? Exxon. When was the lithium battery invented by Exxon? Okay, hold on. 1972. It was patented in 76. Year of invention was 1972. So they invented this thing in 1972. Henrietta Lacks, yeah. So my father went to Hopkins, and so I know a lot about the HL blood. Do you recall? Yeah, being infected with HV. Yep. Well, they said that, and Henrietta Lacks's bloodline, her cells won't die. Like they can't kill them very easily, and so they keep reproducing. That's why. And now there are a few other people's bloodlines, cell lines that they use also. But yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. The Henrietta Lacks story. Here it is, John Hopkins. Henrietta Lacks. Honoring Henrietta. Yeah, but why don't they give her family any money? Johns Hopkins leaders joined by when was this? Maybe they gave her some. Maybe they finally gave him some money. 1951, a young mother of 5 visited Johns Hopkins complaining of vaginal bleeding. The renowned gynecologist discovered a malignant tumor on her cervix at the time. Johns Hopkins is the only one of the few hospitals that, and I shouldn't be reading it off of Johns Hopkins. It's all going to be propaganda. Do you stand beside the equality argument or the scientific argument? Equality meaning they shouldn't have taken the tissue without asking, and they're exploring her on the scientific side. Scientific side. It wasn't for the greater good. It was for profits. Listen, if it was for the greater good, they would have given all the patents away. This is the marketing I'm talking about. This is them saying, no, you didn't. Look, listen, they have ways of taking care of these cancers, and a lot of them that aren't actually cancers. They know. They wanted to make a shit ton of money. And listen, they could have given her family millions of dollars. I don't even think they paid for her burial. When was Henrietta Lacks's family reimbursed? Has not been. So do you really think it wasn't about money? Why didn't they give their family $10 million? Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's all heartstring tugging marketing. Oh, the poor black people, the poor white people, the poor Asian people, the poor sick people, it's all bullshit. These people don't give a shit. And that we could have had so many medical breakthroughs without ourselves. I'm not saying I'm on the side. Right, no, I understand, absolutely. But the argument for the scientific side was that while it wasn't right, Johns Hopkins didn't originally make any money off it, or didn't really profit. They gave the cells to surrounding medical labs for free. They didn't give her family a dime. In 2023, they came to a confidential settlement with a biotech company that had sued, the family sued Thermo Fisher Scientific for profiting from her cells. No. I'm just being dramatic. I'm not calling you out and saying, no, you idiot. I'm recording a video, so when people watch this in a month. Yeah. The settlement occurred August 1st, 2023, after the lawsuit was filed in 2021. And so Hopkins still didn't give him no money. In 2013, an agreement with NIH, the family gained control over her genome data, but did not receive financial compensation. Listen, there's been billions of dollars made off of her bloodline, off of her genetic information. That family should be set. They should be like, we built $1 trillion company off of your dead aunt's cousin's daughter's shit. I studied her case as well for a long time. I'm well aware of it. No, right. And this is what I want people who watch this later to know, that they didn't. I talk to you differently when, not on camera. I want people to know, and I'm not saying no, you idiot, Clem, you stupid, you don't know this stuff. I'm talking to everybody that watches the video. So I think you understand that, I hope. They had lied to the family. Right. They pretended to take blood. Right. They did this for financial gain. Do you think that they gathered together in a room and said, look, we can save the world with this. We can give free help to poor people. No, they definitely didn't do that. I haven't. The COVID jab. Right. Yeah. Why did they lie? Why did they lie? They lied to cover themselves legally. It's not like, oh, if we don't have hers, we can't figure this out. It just cut in line. I'm done playing my phone game for now, so I'm fully back. Yeah. So did you? I know. People don't understand what charities are actually like, right? Taxes, info. Listen, right? Let's talk about philanthropists real quick. How did Bill Gates make more money giving his money away? So Bill Gates left the company, no longer getting a paycheck. How did he make more money giving his money away? Because he's now, him giving his money away puts him in a tax exempt status. Oh, there you go. Yeah, tax exemption. Right. Exactly. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't get that far. I sometimes don't read everything. Right. Tax. So that means he can run a business without giving half of his money back to the government. So you double it takes you half as long to make the same amount of money as that we would be able to make, because average goes to taxes. Thank you for putting philanthropist in quotes. That's right. The world actually loved it, right? They had lied to the family because if they had known their family relative selves, they would have strong feelings about that, and they would have spoke. No. This is the heartstring thing, Clem. They didn't care about the feelings. They knew the family would say, "Pay up, pay us for every. I want a penny for every pill you sell that's made using her data." That's what they didn't want her to know. They weren't worried about crying mothers and fathers and sisters and daughters and children. They weren't worried about that at all. They didn't want, if they made a deal with her back then the family would have a percentage of everything, a big percentage, probably like 10% of everything they made off of Henrietta Lacks bloodline. It didn't have anything to do with how they felt. I promise you, that's what they say. We didn't want to hurt their feelings. You didn't care about feelings. Yeah, right. These are what's called not promotional excuses, PR excuses, public relations. They want to say, we care about everybody here at Hopkins. It's okay to bring your family here. We won't steal your DNA. Just spit into this tube. And yeah, so like there's people that don't get AIDS, right? And these people are called like not super spreaders, that's the other opposite. People that can't get AIDS. So so there's some people that can't get AIDS because they have a genetic mutation, okay? Okay. So they know this, right? So they know that there is people that cannot get AIDS. How do they know they can't get AIDS? How do they know? How do they know? Because they tried to give it to them and it didn't stick. They tried to give it to people and it didn't stick. And then they said, okay, all these other people died from it, but you didn't. So let's make a kick out. So they make a problem and then they sell you the therapy for the problem. All right, I gotta keep reading. I'm gonna. There's no profits, but sway in their favor on others, right? And they want the public to be on their side, saying we are caring individuals. It's emotional manipulation, but you could argue that when they took the tissue out, when they were trying to save her and extract the cancer, that the tissues weren't hers anymore. Right. And well, if it was legally, it probably wasn't hers anymore. And then it comes down to what of yours is yours? Is it only yours if it's connected to your body? But what if I cut your head off? Is your head you or is your body you? And then that like that. So that and John Hopkins had some of the best treatments at the time for cancer, which was radiation treatment. And even though she was segregated for racial reasons, she was still taken care of, right? But that also doesn't cover the fact that she was taken advantage of because she was willing to do pretty much anything to try to. Right. She was dying. She was about to leave the planet and she wanted to stay around and watch her kids grow up and stuff like this. And they're like, we're going to get rich. And they did. She didn't. She died. And her family didn't get rich. Well, maybe they did now. But that was in the 50s. So 70 years later, they get a payout. I'm actually using my brain this stream, which I never do. Good. Welcome to 110th grade. And then, so look at this. The demographic, the people resistant to this, the people resistant to AIDS are people of European descent. So if you think about it, if you've got a bunch of racists that want to kill non-Europeans, you can find in white people a way to not get this disease, and then you can create a vaccine for it that keeps white people from dying from AIDS. Now, can you figure out a way to make it? Like, why is it primary? It's all crazy shit. Do you know you can't get the same virus many times? Right. Yep, that's correct. How many people have the flu during COVID? Zero. That's exactly true. That was rebranded because they wanted the numbers up for public relations, for marketing. They wanted to say, come get this jab. Look how many people are sick. So yeah, there was zero. That's right. And they said a bunch of lies about it, like saying things like well, because COVID was so strong, it pushed of the flu out of the system and it took over. I had COVID 3 times. I was tested for COVID. Maybe not the same strand, but it was COVID. Right. And the third time I was in the hospital, I don't think it was the flu. That's not the point. There is COVID, but they called the flu COVID during the COVID pandemic to boost their numbers. All these companies that want to make money from the government. So then they say, oh, 800,000 people in America. We need billions, Uncle Sam. We need billions of dollars to make sure this doesn't happen. So they fluffed the numbers, the marketing. I had to get COVID tested me too. I had to get COVID tested every day on the movie sets. I did the nose test. Had to do the nasal test. Me too. No, I wouldn't even let them. I let them rub it around the rim of my nose. I didn't let them go up in. Yeah, yeah. And this is the thing that's stupid. So like it takes a day or two to get the results back. So like if they swab my nose, then I go around billionaires and millionaires in the movie sets. I could have already spread it to them. Uh, it was probably the polyethylene glycol. Yep, yep. There's a whole bunch of craziness. But yeah, there's a there's a lot of wackadoodle stuff going on behind closed doors. People want to be rich so bad, and they don't care who they hurt to get it. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you something real quick. Maybe I don't know if I'm able to find it, but so somebody stole one of the swabs and they did a test to it, and they looked under the cotton. There was basically plastic hooks like on Velcro, so that it would scratch into people's mucous membranes. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Plastic Velcro like hooks in COVID-19 nasal swabs. And look, there's only like 12 pictures and they're all bullshit things. So the ones that the ones that yeah, so they're not showing any of the. Okay, right. So the Velcro like appearance is due to a flocking process, not actual hooks for fastening. This is designed crucial for effective sample collection and testing. So they had hooks in them, not to fasten, but to scrape up the inside of your nose. Some people thought they put graphene oxide in the COVID swab test, right? Yeah. I would have gotten the throat test because I don't have a gag reflex. How did you test for COVID? There's this video. Yeah, right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. So they didn't have a test for COVID. They had they had a guess of what COVID probably looked like, and that's what they tested for. Let me see if I can find it. The probabilistic COVID test. The probabilistic COVID test model. Here it is. Okay. So it was this is in 2020. It was a prediction model that looked like what COVID would probably look like. So they weren't testing. They didn't have COVID here under a microscope and then take something from you and say here and say, "Yup, it's the same." They said this is what COVID probably looks like because we're smart. Yeah. Stay away from those people. Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Yeah, and I don't know about Canada, Clem. What were they testing? Like, were you being tested to go into school, or were you being tested to go what to go to work, or what were they testing you for, or was it just they were testing the population? Israel. Yeah, the whole thing made no sense. Yep, definitely. It made a lot of dollars. It needed to make sense. I never did any tests or mask wearing or absolutely absolute nonsense. I did no lockdown and traveled the world. I had to work to travel. I had to work travel. I had to for work travel. Anyway, I'm finished for tonight. Biggest scam in humanity. All right, Paul, brother. Being tested in university. Okay, considering this was 5 years ago when I started getting tested when I had been volunteering for the police station. Gotcha. Yeah, mine was for work. I wouldn't freaking that. That shit is freaking crazy. It's so crazy to see. Like, listen, it was so for one of the places that I worked. Well, I forgot the name of the guy. The name of the studio. Who did Big Mama's house? Who did Big Mama's house? What was his name? Tyler Perry. So when I was working at Tyler Perry's studio, they had a building in the studio that was the COVID testing facility. So they would just call you once a day at Trillith Studio. You pulled up in your car and they had a tent outside and they swabbed your nose. Then you could go through security and you could go inside, but you didn't have to like wait for results or anything. They had to you had to wear a badge and they had to scan your badge and all this. It was just and like I was building movie sets and movie props. There was dust and shit everywhere. So like it was hot. We couldn't wear masks because the masks would get dust in them and then you'd take them off because they would just be blowing your hot breath back in your face. And the thing is about like those masks, like they cause jets. Like instead of the breath coming out and then diluting, it like blows back, because you have the mask, so the breath blows back in one direction. So if there's people behind you, it actually would have done worse. They're still doing COVID vaccines here now, but only for those in senior at high risk. And I understand the virus never really goes away. It is. Listen, people are making billions of dollars off of it, and they don't want that to stop. And they're getting it from the government. They're getting the billions of dollars from the government, so they don't have to ask you for any money. They're taking your money from taxes, and then the government is paying private companies. So and then the private companies are the ones that are saying, "Oh, there's still COVID." Yeah, it'll probably be around forever. But as long as they can keep doing the fear mongering, doom and gloom, yeah. Considering that they're specifying those vulnerable in the weak immune system, that really is what really is this vaccine doing? If not nothing, it's not doing anything. The problem with playing with nature is you can't do as good as nature. it would have been better if it would have been better to let people get the virus and get better naturally and get a natural immunity, and then they won't get it again. The problem is the vaccine doesn't give you a dead version of the virus. That way, every new version of the virus that came out, Delta and Omicron and stuff, you don't have any immunity for. So they can just keep changing it and changing it and changing it. And then there's what they change, and then there's the natural not metabolization. What's it called? Mutagenic properties, or the mutation of it. So it's like it's a money money printing machine. You got to finally, like, look, if all the governments failed and there was still COVID, people would get it, and people would get over it, and people, it was a laboratory leak. That's they just said that the other day. It was a lab leak, 100%, 100%. The head of the FDA of the government now said yesterday that it was in the Chinese lab, paid for with American and Canadian and French and Spanish tax dollars.
If I would ask you this simple question, because my boys one day come out and they start talking to me about someone in kid is gay.
That's
okay, and what is that? Okay, a couple years ago, when it comes down to being, is that what it was?
Mpox.
Mpox is what it was. Maybe pump the brakes on being sexually active right now. The next. If AIDS, and I remember the whole Anthony Fauci, what was the pill that they were?
Miley Cyrus caused COVID.
ACT, yeah. And I think it gets to a point that some people don't want to talk about what really is going on and kind of want to give the direction at a different place on what's causing this. Where maybe it's even some people's lifestyle on how people live. Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? This is a sensitive topic. Most people don't want to go to it.
That's right.
It's extremely difficult because who are you going to lose? Who's going to be not happy? We're already past this. But if we don't openly talk about this stuff, then you lose the argument with puberty blockers. Then you lose the argument with all the other things that's happening to kids, and they're confused because we're like, well, no, I don't want to touch that story. Dallas Buyers Club, Matthew McConaughey, what was really going on. And no, let's not touch that story because that's a little too controversial. Let's just kind of say it came from a lab. Let's just say it came from here. And then you're supposed to sit there and say, really?
Yeah. I don't know where HIV came from, but how many people have Lyme disease, including people we know?
Mm-hmm.
Where did Lyme disease come from? I can tell you with a high degree of probability, it came from Lab 257 on Plum Island, just outside of Connecticut, 25 miles from Lyme, Connecticut.
Lyme disease came from a lab.
Described.
Okay, I'll get to the HIV thing when he finally pushes.
First of all, you can read the book Bitten.
Yes.
It's a great book. When the Nazi war criminal doctors were executed in Nuremberg, at least one of them was spared and brought to the United States.
Exactly.
So that he could, his mind could be used by the U.S. military for so-called biodefense.
You got to kill the evil.
And they put him on Plum Island. And he had said very openly that he believed an incredible form of biowarfare was infecting ticks. And that's what Lyme disease is. And then it shows up 25 miles away. And by the way, that's not the only thing that showed up close by. They found half rat, half deer carcasses on.
This is the leader of the FDA of the most powerful country in the world.
Montauk. Yeah, it washed up in Montauk. This is like in the 90s. What the hell's going on there? Again, a bunch of mad scientists doing things, and and all these people have Lyme disease. How many physicians know that it came from Lab
Do you, right.
257?
Do you know how much money they make on Lyme disease? Because they don't cure it, right? So then once you get on Lyme disease, you get on Percocets or other opioids, and you get on antibiotics for the rest of your life.
That Lyme disease came from approximately 1%, right? Because these
Less.
are things we are never honest with ourselves. That just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it.
Right.
And sometimes we can cause more harm than we can good by messing with Mother Nature.
That's what I said.
When we set out to create a
All
shoe,
right. Okay. So this was just a 5-minute clip. So when he pushes on it and he talks about COVID, he says COVID came from the lab. We know about it. It came from our money. So this was created 100%. We don't want to believe that people are evil. We don't want to believe in these things. And people who contract viruses and such can't really be cured. They're told they can't. They're told. Such can't be cured. They're told they can't be cured. Feel a need to keep buying. So, right, because people don't want to die. So fear is a very big motivator. If they tell you that you need to work for this company to make money to keep this health insurance, or you'll be broke, or if you don't get these pills, you'll die. This is the bullshit, and it's known. That's right. The fear of death and sickness kind of fuels it. Exactly. Look, the same with alcohol and drugs. People are told, look, there's bad withdrawals if you stop, and they don't want to experience that hell on earth, so they keep on it. And it's like, and it makes companies a lot of money. It makes governments a lot of money. And like, listen, we can do anything. We can create cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine vaccines. There's a cocaine vaccine, so if you do it, you don't feel it. Why don't they just do that then? Why are they giving us freaking mumps vaccines when the mumps virus isn't even shown barely at all? Instead they could give us this, so then if we decide to play around when we're in college or high school, it doesn't do anything to us. Why don't they do that? That's what would help, because they use that for funding for secret projects. They use the drugs that come across the border. They listen, we used to stop cars that came across the border to search them for drugs. Then we opened the border and we have a drug. You know what the number one cause of death is? It's overdose. The number one cause of death is overdose. So they're letting so much, and we could give people vaccines, and they say, well, the problem is if we give them a vaccine and they do this and they don't feel it, they'll do more and they'll overdose. So, okay, well, we can also do things because we can edit the genetic code. We can make it so that your body creates antibodies that basically when you do fentanyl or whatever, it eats it. What's going on? Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Yeah, and so we could do all this stuff, but they're playing God. They're playing God. The thing is that like these people are evil. They have no soul. Their soul has been taken. They've decided to trade their time on earth chasing money and power, and they don't even need people to know they have the power. They just need to know themselves. I created a bioweapon that's gonna and that's what they want, and they feel great about it. But the thing is, yes, we have the knowledge and the technology to do anything we want. Look, Elon Musk has a brain implant that he can give to people that they can't talk, blink, or anything, but they can play video games because it talks to their brain. I feel like saying, yeah, buddy, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. But yeah, and so we could do all this stuff. We could stop all of this stuff, and we don't, because there's a lot of money. Overdose is the number one cause of death because mostly everything's contaminated with strong. Right, fentanyl. That's right. That's right. Right. No, absolutely, absolutely. Well, why don't we do something about that? Right now we are. Now we're doing something about that. We can bomb these boats. We can do it automatic. We could sleep and have these boats swarm down. Do chemical tests with cameras and say, "Yep, that's fentanyl in the boat." Blow it up. We could have done this since the early 2000s, and we didn't because people made a lot of money off of it. Think about the people on the streets that are making shitloads of money, hundreds of millions of dollars selling drugs. They don't want that to stop, so they pay off politicians and stuff. I'm just not. But not just that. It's also contaminated illicit supply. Sure, but the thing is, listen. There doesn't need to be an illicit supply. If we want it, we should get it. They don't allow us to grow opium poppies and stuff here. It never needed to get to the point where we had to get pills from doctors. We could have grown our own shit and then got high off our own supply, and that's the thing. That's one of the big things about marijuana. Like it can grow all over the place. You can grow it in your house. And so people do that. But the drugs that people end up getting addicted to are drugs that they can't access themselves. So they need to buy them illicitly. And our government allowed that to become a big profit maker. And then they lie and say we're going to make it illegal, but then when people get arrested for it, they get let right back out. And then there's people that get arrested for it that go to jail for 100 years, but that's just that's marketing to say, look, we're still in the war on drugs. This person got 100 years for carrying a Percocet, and it's like, but what about the 900 million other ones that didn't? Yeah, it's all bullshit. Everything's bullshit. Everything's smoke and mirrors. It's all like these people. The big problem is people that are in power in the United States, they are poor and they see people's tax returns and stuff that are ultra rich and they want to be rich too, but they don't want to do anything to get rich because they don't have any talent. They make it illegal because they know if they wouldn't be able to control the supply, so they think by making it illegal they can control it. No. They control the supply. They absolutely control the supply. Look, so the governments before Trump allowed it in. Trump's not allowing it in. So they're absolutely controlling it, and they could make money off that. Now dealers are adding hidden drugs like fentanyl and such to make it more potent, which is now killing people. This is the problem. Okay. Fentanyl, you need something the size of a sugar cube to make the equivalent of a kilogram of heroin. Okay, so when you get the and it's so much easier to get that across than this across the border, right? So that's why they're doing it. It's the shipping zero. But then so many people started dying that the cartels started losing money because they started killing their customers. So now the cartels are cutting it back up to make it this big, so people, don't get something this small that kills them. I think you think they're nice people that are saying, "Oh, we're going to try to stem this." They don't. They're making money. They're making the people that fund our government's runs for office and stuff like that. A lot of them are allegedly tied to criminals. Like, look at this. Gambling scandal recently. It ties to the mob. Okay, the gambling scandal. October, November 2025. That's now. Been tied to members of the New York Mafia families, the Gambinos, Bonanno, Genovese, and Lucchese families. These families were supposedly broken up and gone. No. They didn't. The government said, we won the war on the mob. No, they didn't. They just went to bed with them. They said, we want money too. How are you guys making money? And so now you have people that want to be rich, and they're using these people too. These companies, the crime is still around. We just don't see it anymore. In the media, it's all still there. Everything ties back. I mean, a cartel is a bit null and void because they kill everything, right? Anything in power rush. That's right. Right. Because they already have. Look, let's look at this again real quick. Maybe not again, but let's look at this real quick. How much money did Pablo Escobar lose to rot? He lost 10% of his money each year due to rats, moisture, and improper storage. 10% loss was significant amount of money. So billions of dollars to, they got so much money. They don't need to do this anymore. They could stop and be rich in their beyond their wildest dreams. But if they stop, they can't keep. So if the problem is once you lie, you have to keep lying. Once you start selling drugs, you got to keep selling drugs on this scale because you need the money coming in so that you, once you stop paying off politicians, the next one that comes in will then say, well, let's look what happened back then and bust all these people. So they got to keep selling, they got to keep selling drugs to keep making money, to keep paying off politicians so they could stay out of jail. So it's a vicious cycle. The mob is still involved in our shit. The NBA, like the NBA has a lot of political pull. LeBron James is telling people who to vote for and people are listening. So it's like this is serious stuff, right? And it's like it's what runs the world, and it always has, just in different forms. Like look at this, the Chinese Opium Wars. The Chinese Opium Wars were going on since the 1800s, and they were doing the same things. So none of this is stopped. It's just moved around the planet. Money fuels the cartel's motive, but they do it because they want to. They get an adrenaline rush and sick satisfaction. They're evil. They're evil. Yeah. Inflicted fear. They could easily stop, but they don't want to because of evil twitch. Evil, exactly. Right. And have you seen this? Let me see if I can find it. What it's called? Not El Paso, El Salvador prisons. Look at this. So El Salvador decided they're going to stop it. And look at all these people. This is one bay of people. Uh-oh, I break something. Look at this. Look at this. This is one bay, one building, one dorm, and these people are back to back to back. And if you look at them, look at these people. Look at them. They're completely covered in tattoos on their face and everything. They're evil. They're evil people that don't want anything but the worst for people. Dude, they in Mexico or in South America, in one of the countries, they kill women just because they don't like women. And women killing women. They go through TikTok, and if they find someone local to them that's streaming on TikTok, they kill them on the live stream. Yes, even children. Right. And then so you have people that are evil that want humans to stop reproducing. So they start doing things like making abortion legal everywhere and making everybody get one and telling people that children are the worst things ever. And this is evil. I've seen videos of that, and that Spanish streamer in Spanish. Yeah, there's a lot of them, but that one got media. But if you look into the news of it, there was hundreds. That's just one of the ones because there's so much death and destruction going on. The news has to pick one of 1,000 to show us about. Hispanic streamer killed live on stream. And this was just a few months ago. But it was happening. And if you read the article, she was 23, okay? And it says, the killing is not currently being investigated. The killing is not currently being investigated. They don't, right here. They call it femicide. Just days earlier, another woman, the mayoral candidate, was shot dead during a live stream alongside 3 other people. So this is just one that got popular. There were 847 cases in the last year, 162 in 3 months of this year. Where was it? It's not being investigated due to drug cartels in the area. So they're not even investigating it. They're not, because the drug cartels run the politics. But where is it? Let me see. In 2022, 4,000 women were killed in Mexico. But that was only 12% of all homicides that year. So that means that there was 400,000, or so 40,000 people killed that year. So what I heard was they just kill women. It's just they get, and it was a woman that killed her. It was a girl. It was another woman that killed her. And they just say, like, she's showing her tits on the internet, blah blah blah. She thinks she's hot, and no one cares about life anymore. And so yeah, and so they killed her. And so you have these people going around. They're just so powerful. They're so power hungry, and I can't remember the term I wanted to use, but let me see if I can find the femicide thing. Okay, let's see if I can find something. Femicide in Mexico. Femicide. Femicide is a significant problem in Mexico, the country having the world's worst rate with 10 women killed daily in 2019. Femicide rates vary, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Violence against women, extreme gender-based violence of women and murder is a crime known as femicide. Femicides have become a major concern. So there hasn't been anything reported on why they're killing these women. A lot of them, and there's a lot of them. So a lot of them. Some people are saying they're being killed because they won't join the cartels, and some people are saying that women are being killed because they're part of other cartels. So it's like, if you don't choose a cartel, then you don't get protection. Apparently, she was killed by femicide. You're right. She was killed by a man pretending to be a delivery man, dropping off an expensive gift, and he just pulled out a gun and shot her in the leg. Right. There you go. So there you go. And so it's an act of hatred or discrimination, an act of control, possession, or domination. You can't see it, but yeah, it's absolutely wackadoodle, and then so that's Mexico. How about this? How about this? How about that? How about that? How about that? How about that? Recently, femicide, Italy. Okay, so it's not just there. It's evil people around the world doing the bidding of evil people. Our governments let these crime families, the race or the chase of wealth, and you have people that don't have talent or business acumen, that can't start businesses or do something to get money. They resort to stuff like this. I mean, yeah, I'll think of something in a second. Let me get this out of my system. So the problem is, you've got mobs, which I take this back to devil worship. You have people that don't. The thing is about Christianity and religions that believe we are made in the image of God. They don't treat other humans like this. You have things like Santeria and religions that worship multiple gods and the devil, and they don't care. They think we were made from what we were farted into the universe by a freaking two stars that decided this is all bullshit. And people say, so what's the difference? You're just pissing me off, and me being pissed off is just a chemical going on in my brain because a star exploded 8 billion years ago. So I'm gonna just kill you. It doesn't matter because there's no, and yeah, that's a big problem. So the big problem is, okay, we'll look at this real quick and then we'll move on to something happy. This is Thanksgiving. Santeria in Mexico. Glocalization. Okay, let me see. So what are the Santeria is Africana diaspora religion developed in Cuba during the late 19th century. Centricism, Santeria teaches the existence of transcendent creator divinity, Oldemar, the ruler of the heavens, creator of Yorba, supreme deity, and yada yada yada, under whom spirits are known, typically deriving the names from attributes from Yorba deities. Each human is deemed to have a personal link to a particular who influences their personalities. Okay, a supernatural force. So let's just sacrificing offerings of liquor, flowers, and sacrificed animals. Drums singing to encourage it. Divination to use decipher messages. So you have people that are lost. They're completely lost, and in this religion, if someone is irritating you, it's because they've got a bad spirit, and it's up to you to get rid of that bad spirit. Santeria, is it? Maybe. No. At least unless this is wrong. We'll have it played out. That's how Sublime says it. I don't know if it's Santeria, but it says right here, Santeria. Right here. Maybe it'll say it. Yeah, let's do this. Hold on. All right. Santeria. All right, let's see if we can get it to say it. Pronunciation.
Santeria.
That's how Sublime says it. That's so funny. I don't practice.
Santeria.
I ain't got no crystal ball. I'd have $1 million, but I'd spend it all. I meant tear. Oh, Santeria. Yeah, Santeria.
Santeria.
Let's say it slower, baby.
Santeria.
I really want honey balls. Hi, my name's Honey. I had to do it, sorry. Santeria. Yeah, Santeria, the same as Voodoo. So here's one of the things. It's pretty interesting. They're so sickly sweet, but so good. Yeah. Sublime lied to us. Yay. Go figure. I was looking at Santeria and Voodoo. Voodoo. Okay, so South African religions developed. Santeria is Cuban religion. Voodoo is in Haiti, with roots in the Vodun faith in the religion. So this is wackadoo shit. Worship practice, ancestor veneration, and belief that spirits inhabit natural things, in rituals involving dance and offerings. And I think that like death offerings human, like you get these places that were throwing their babies into fire to make the gods happy and stuff like that. What's going on, G? I got a Dalmatian, I can still get high. I got a Dalmatian, I can still get high. I can play the guitar like a motherfucking Ryan. Lick, lick. True. Good. It was good. I got this right here. Bam. Hey, 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 hey. No, Cat was in Maryland. Voodoo was a song by Godsmack. Right. You got a band named Godsmack. It's better than Smack God, I guess. Yeah, Voodoo. Voodoo of it. What was it? I used to remember that song. Love this smile. Thank you, G. I don't remember recording a video of me in the lighting booth. What? What happened? Don't. What did you make? Turkey, sweet potatoes, stuffing, mixed vegetables, cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie, pineapple pie, drop biscuits. I'm missing some things. Yeah. All right, what I missed? Another state. Georgia's my state. She lives in Maryland. Yeah. Eastern United States. Let's see if I can find a close up here. Okay, so here you go. So let's make it a little bit bigger now. So, oh well, that's the northeastern United States. Dang it. Okay. So it's hard to see here, I know. But so I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. Probably not. But she's up about halfway up. I'm by the penis of Florida. So Florida's the very bottom one you see there. And then the next one up is Georgia. That's where I'm at. Then you have South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and then Maryland is right in the middle. Yeah, it's still the 27th. It's 8/19 for both of us. So that at the very bottom right of the screen is Maryland. It looks like a gun. It's kind of hard to see. And then there's Virginia at the bottom right. There's North Carolina at the bottom right, South Carolina, and then Georgia. That's where I'm at. And then there's Florida. So we're like 700 miles different. Sorry. All right, let's see. What's this? Maryland to Georgia. So here you go. Maybe this is a little bit better. Here's the eastern seaboard of the United States, and this is us. Even though you probably can't tell, but yeah, sorry, yeah. Every country has regions, right. Ours are the United States. Yeah. So the orange one at the bottom is me, and the orange one at the top is her. Because we are the United States. So then if anyone is upset with one state, they can find another state that's still under the umbrella of the system of the federal United States of America. So if you're liberal, you can go to a liberal state. If you're conservative, you can go to a conservative state and still have the same banking systems and same driver's license, all that stuff. About 13 hours by car. I can do it in 9. Me and my brother did. Oral sex, yes, oral sex is any sex but missionary, cat. Even girl on top is illegal in Maryland. Yeah, I'm sure it does too. Yeah. Yeah, states can make their own laws. Right. The states can make their own laws, but they can't break federal law, right? All right, Clem, cheese. I was reading cheese response saying that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, go for it. I can play the guitar like You got the stage, Clem. Cheese, I'm tired. I'm not tired, I'm full. Love you too, girl. If someone confesses to the priest that they killed someone, yeah. Love you too, girl. Okay. Yes. 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 If they hurt someone, they can absolutely. If they hurt someone or are going to hurt someone or hurt themselves, yes. So biblically, the way it's thought of is that there's a possibility, if you want to think about it, of like jinn and devils and possession, like demonic possession. Yes. So there's that song's better than Santeria. But yes, so priests are treated like all other mental health professionals. If you have a psychiatrist, you have what's it called? Doctor-patient confidentiality. But that does not include hurting yourself, hurting someone else, or plans to hurt someone else. If you've hurt somebody else or killed somebody else, yeah. Turkey makes people sleepy, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Here, let's do this. So father is just a name for someone above you in the in line. So a priest and well, I'll pull this up. Let's do this. Let's do this. A priest is a title for a man ordained in certain Christian denominations, like 1,000. A pastor is a religious leader of a Protestant. Father is a title of respect for a priest and a pastor and anything. So a priest and a pastor is both a father. That's yes, father. That's respectful. Priest is a title. So father it's for respect, but a priest is a title for a man ordained in Catholicism. Oh, you can't see that. A priest is a title for a man. All right, Gerard, brother. And priests have to be celibate. Not all of them. If they take a vow of celibacy, then yeah, right. And then a pastor is a broader term for a church leader. So priest is male, and pastor is male or female, right? And the main differences are specific to the different religious traditions. The priest role performs sacraments. A pastor's emphasis is on teaching. So a pastor is a teacher, like in its equivalent to Islam would be your scholars would be your pastors, and your imams would be your priests. Well, actually, let's see. Somebody have. What is the equivalent of a pastor in Islam? Imam. So a pastor is like an imam. All right, then sheikhs. I forgot about that too. All right. what is the equivalent of a priest in Islam? Okay, they still say imam. Imam. Um, so the scholars, at least from what I know, you can correct me. So the scholars would be the teachers, right? And then the imam are like the spiritual leaders. Bam. Let's see what this people has to say. The Islamic equivalent of honor father for priests. Okay, so it says that I don't know if this person says anything or not. There is no real equivalent. Sheikh, Mulana, Mufti are usually given titles of people of knowledge or use respectable terms to address them. So that would be like father then. Imam would be more like a priest. At least that's the way that I understood it. Drop biscuits. Why? What have you been thinking about, Chi? I got a Dalmatian. I can still get it. Do you need to talk to a priest about about something? Is your story about murder yesterday a personal story? I can play the guitar like a no. Let's see. Let me see for sure. I always thought they had to take a vow of celibacy. In Catholicism, do priests need to be celibate? Yes. Yay. Yes, you were right. You were right, Kat. Yes, priests in the Roman Catholic Church are required to be celibate, meaning they cannot marry or have sexual relations as a matter of discipline, not doctrine. So it doesn't say in doctrine that they have to be. Okay, but I understand that. They're ordained. This rule has exceptions, such as married clergy from other traditions that convert and are ordained as priests. Additionally, married men can become priests in some Eastern Catholic churches. For the vast majority of Roman Catholic priests, celibacy is required for ordination. Discipline could in theory, change, but it's not dogma. So it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible, life is too short to love the one you got because you might get run over or you might get shot. Never starting a static, just get it off your chest. Never have to battle with my bulletproof vest. Take a small example, take a tip to the tip from me. Take all of your money, give it all charity. Life's what you got, don't start a riot. You feel it when the dance gets hot. Love is what I got. Remember that. Oh, dang. I really hope she responds. I really want to know what she has to say. Kat, were you here for the cheese story yesterday? Life is what you got. Don't start a riot. Love is what I got. I said, remember that. Love's what I got. Don't start a riot. Sexual relations. Loving is what I got. I said, remember that. Sublime's new album, Till the Sun Explodes. I don't cry when my dog runs away. Oh, man. So we read like a 5-page story that she wrote when she was 15. Oh. Look, okay, so this is it. We read that last night. I don't get angry at the bills I have to pay. I don't get angry when my mom smokes pot. Hit the bottle and go right to the rock. Fuck it and bite it, it's all the same. The little Louis dog's the only way to stay sane. Life of loving, come back to me. That's, man, I tell you what, it must be nice to be able to be born, grow up, and then just be part of a freaking superstar band. All right. Began drinking. Jacob Noel has been sober since 2017. He began drinking at age 12, and his drug and alcohol use was influenced by wanting to understand his father's experiences. Long Beach Crew. No, Long Beach, California. I thought I meant Long Beach Crew. Long Beach City. That's what I meant to say. Right. Long Beach, California. Who's Jason Isbell? I hate when it starts confusing things. It's all confusing things. What's his name? Jacob Noel. And that's some serious hair he's got going on there. Love, yeah, is what I got. Oh, should have done it.
It was to not like, oh, here's a brand new Sublime record, which, that's what we're putting it out as, obviously. But this is my tribute and inspiration to the work of my uncles, because, I mean, you can't match up to something like that happened in that era, and it was just a moment in time.
It was a moment in time. It was a time and place, and it was amazing.
Man. So this is just us saying, wow, like looking back on it. This is like the epilogue and the thank you to everybody. And, we'll do this till the sun blows up, man.
How many tracks are on the new album?
Oh, we're still putting the track list together. I was just in there yesterday, but it's looking like 18. I think we wrote about, not counting those ones, just like 20 songs altogether. And then we did a bunch of jams. We just have homies in there. We got Fletcher jamming on some of this, Pennywise, and my boy G-Love dropping a verse.
G-Love and Special Sauce.
Some Fiddlar, just
like... Ooh, yes.
Yeah, dude, like all of our friends. To me, it's...
It's all right, G.
Just the more it feels just like fun party time, like throwing it all together and seeing what sticks, I think that's the right move. A lot of the stuff is inspired by unreleased Sublime material. So our goal with this was to not like, oh, here's.
Yeah. Mufti means scholar, right. Right. Cheese late. So, well, I forgot what I was gonna say. You ever make drop biscuits? You ever make drop biscuits? Look at that, man. Look at a big old hunk of butter in there. Look at that summer gum. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Look at that big old hunk of butter in there. Loving is what I got. I said, remember that. Let's see. So okay, I think I'm gonna call it in about 8 minutes here. Actually, I should probably go to bed. At 9 hours yesterday, almost to the minute. Let me see. Yeah, I should probably. Hey, let's see. I've heated biscuits in the oven. Yeah. Yeah, drop biscuits are easy because you don't have to form them. You just drop them. You take a scoop and drop them on the pan, and then however they land, that's how you leave them. And so it's like heating, but you heat them longer to make them. Biscuits in the oven. All right, Chi, you're welcome. I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah, I'm ready for sleep too. This has been going on for 3.5 hours, so I'm ready to call it a night. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys have a good night there. Love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Eat a couple more bites of turkey and freaking call it. All right, love you.